After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2024 Acura ZDX, $299 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Tuesday, 7 p, the place to be, right here, the Squared Circle Digest. I am Sean Stanley. He is the great Frankie Fresco. How we doing this afternoon, this evening, sir?
What's going on, gentlemen? Well, sure. And of course, everybody in the chat board, welcome aboard. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe.
Yeah, EA Minutes in. My dad's in already. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in on the Stanley Media House Network YouTube channel, as well as the Frankie Fresco YouTube channel, on Twitch, on X, and on Facebook. Appreciate everybody. Make sure, please, hit the subscribe. Jump over to the other YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe, notifications. Keep up with everything that's going on in the world of Frankie Fresco and Stanley Media House Network. Frankie, pretty good week of wrestling. Let me tell you something. Sunday night, I got the TNA Genesis pay-per-view. I was intrigued, and we didn't really put it on the thing, but we will talk about it here at the beginning. Actually, it is on the wheel, so we won't discuss it full, now that I remembered what I put on the wheel. But we can discuss a little bit of it here.
Hopefully it lands on the...
Yeah, hopefully it will. If not, then we will discuss it before we jump to AEW. How about that? So, NXT has reached a deal with TNA. They're going to do kind of a back and forth. And actually, what's funny is there's another thing on there that comes from this merger deal that possibly could happen. So we'll see. That's also on the wheel, by the way. Hey, look at this. All these teases in the first 5 minutes of these Squared Circle Digest. You don't get this anywhere else.
No, you don't.
No, not at all. But what I wanted to say was I watched it, and then at the same time, I was watching GCW. Now, I have not watched a lot of Game Changer Championship Wrestling. I have not watched a lot of it because I'm not the death match guy. But I'm not saying that every match they have is death match, by the way, because they have some tremendous athletes. And when I watched it, it was a very good show. Very good show. They used a lot of plunder. Don't get me wrong. There was a violent and an ultra violent. There was the extreme title and the ultra violent title got combined into one. So there was light bulbs, there was chairs, there was everything that you could have there. So, but if you have a chance, the reason I was on this whole rant to begin with here was check out GCW. If you don't, and most of you maybe already watch it already, but if you don't, do yourself a favor. Check it out, and I guarantee you will find something. They have a flavor for everybody on GCW.
A flavor for everybody.
Flavor for everybody. There's hardcore. There was Cardona was on it, of course. He's the GCW commissioner. So there's a little bit of everything. The only thing is prayers go out also to Allie Catch. She broke her leg.
Oh, Jesus.
In a match. And the match was set up to be her against Effie. And the winner went on to the main event to take on Mance Warner. And about maybe 5 minutes into the match, she did a dive to the outside and her leg got kind of caught underneath her. And it looked like it snapped her ankle. It was going the wrong way.
Oh, no.
And they had to stop the match. And then also, because of that, it extended the pay-per-view because in New York, you can't wrestle without an ambulance being on site. The ambulance had to, and the paramedics had to, of course, see her and then take care of her. So then they kept, going on and on with the pay-per-view, kind of trying to buy time with a promo, but it took so long for the paramedics to get there. They had to do a couple other little things. And
I'm still here.
No, I got you. I thought I did something, honestly, at first. That's why I kind of
I'll just clean the camera.
Yeah, no. So, but overall, man, it was Sunday ended up being a good night of wrestling. We got Richie TWE in, no doubt is in.
What's up, guys?
And yes, I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry did win the TNA heavyweight title at Genesis.
You sure did. I was excited.
What do you think, man? What do you think? You like it? You like that was done that way?
I think the reason why he won it, I think they want to, especially since they did that collaboration now with WWE, I think you want to see Joe Henry, and you're going to see Joe Henry in a WWE show. I don't know if it's going to be only NXT. I know if he's been in NXT, but I have the feeling that maybe they even might bring him over for Royal Rumble. There's been that rumor.
Yeah, that's the interesting part too. And you know what, man? If we land on the wheel, we'll just respin it. We'll respin it, okay? We'll respin the wheel.
Why are you cheating the wheel? Why are you cheating the wheel, sir?
No, because I actually put not just your topic that you sent over.
Okay.
Which was EA Minutes has kind of just brought it up there. Joe Henry versus John Cena. Book it.
Mm-hmm.
But the interesting thing that I'll go with to start this is the merger says NXT and TNA, not WWE and TNA.
Yeah.
It says NXT and TNA. And then you start seeing, of course, Henry wins the title. And you know what he said on Busted Open Radio, of course. It's gone all over.
Yes, sir.
And it does make you wonder, though, as you just said, will we see TNA stars show up on WWE TV? Frankie Kazarian tweeted out afterwards that he might show up on Raw to confront JBL because JBL took him out before he get the title. Of course, we saw on Raw last night. I don't believe that happened.
No.
So
at least I didn't see him.
I didn't see it. So maybe they did something else, filmed it so that it could go on later. I don't know. So we'll see where that goes. But I believe, I'm not going to say his name, will probably show up more on NXT TV.
I believe too.
Than he will on the programming. But now that, again, Royal Rumble is always a special moment. But do you want... This is an interesting thing, because I was going to put this as a topic right now, but I held off on it a little bit, but I guess we can bring it up. They're putting... This is going to be a heavy loaded... We've talked a little bit about it last week with just like 3 names that were already in there.
Can't we just talk about this during the miscellaneous portion of WWE?
Why do we want to wait till then, though?
Because you have particularly put on the side here
I know, but I really don't want to say the
a
one guy's
particular
name that
a,
all
a
right.
particular order.
All right,
Order.
fine. We
So
will
you're
do
like
it.
you're
We
like
will do it on the miscellaneous.
you're
Fine,
defeating
Frankie
you're
Fresco.
defeating the purpose of the topics.
Because I didn't know if this was going to be a like topic that was like, can we go on for? But then as it's brought up, our whole timeline right now on the thing is all NXT and WWE like dream stuff. So
I don't know about all that, but okay.
yeah, but hey, it is good. All right, let's get into our topics that I picked.
Thank you.
That Frankie did sign off on, though, by the way. I sent them all to him. I said, is there anything else you want to add? Of course, he wanted to add one. And I'm guessing you can look at this list and see which one he added. But that's neither here nor there.
Probably the best topic outside of the Punk one. I'm not gonna lie, this is a hard topic. Like, you got all my favorites on here. Literally, they're all my favorites. Punk is my favorite. I love Penta.
Yeah.
You know how I think about Dom, and then who cares about Roman? But
So
it's a good
three out of four. Three out of four.
topic.
Yeah,
Good,
thanks.
good.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I like it.
So last night on Raw, CM Punk gets interviewed, and he does this whole thing about all these guys that he could beat. You know, John Cena can't see me to throw me out of the ring. Seth I beat last week. Drew I beat. And even if Hulk Hogan gets involved, like, so question for you, and then I'll get into what I've read on reports. And I hope this is not happening, by the way. Brother, your thoughts on the even mentioning? Why mention them?
Well, look.
Thoughts on that?
First and foremost, before we talk about the Hulk Hogan, what a hell of a promo!
It's fantastic.
His promo of him disrespecting all those guys,
yeah,
kind of gave me a little bit of the Rock type of promos. Remember when the Rock used to do it all the damn time? Like, he would take shots at everybody and didn't give a damn. So I thought he nailed it with that one.
No, he nailed it. And then the fact that, you know, the way he said all those guys, and then was just like, Sami Zayn's not on my level. It just blew by him.
That's so good.
Do you know what I'm saying? Just he nailed it.
I like that.
He nailed it, and it was beautifully done because they put it out in the people.
Wait, but hold on a second. Hold on. Let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was the first time I kind of had a little bit of an issue. What's up with all these guys always coming out the crowd? Come on, man. This ain't John Moxley. This ain't AEW. You know, you got Jey Uso coming out, and now you got CM Punk coming out.
I got Jey Uso should.
Yes.
But I do like the fact that they brought him out. Like, I used to like the way WWE did promos way back in the back. They used to have this little stage, and Gene Okerlund would stand there, and they would come up on the stage, and they would have the interview not near the ring, not anything else. I like the fact that, again, CM Punk saying he's for the people.
He did.
So why not have him go out through the people and cut that specific promo?
That's a good point.
I like that. Now I don't want to see him coming through every week. There's no need for it. But for that promo, I think it hit, and I do agree with you. There's a lot of coming through the crowd. Now, it's okay you're coming out with Jey Uso and all that stuff, because I think that intro works. But the fact that everybody starts doing it, you start, watering down Jey Uso's entrance.
You are just a tad, but you know what? I was happy that they just went ahead and they didn't. He didn't go all the way down to the crowd, and then they interviewed him, so that was fine. So that's why I'm not taking a huge riff. Mm-hmm. I just want to mention it to you guys. That way, you guys can think about it and be like, okay, let's keep an eye on that for future Raws and SmackDowns to see if they keep doing that crap. Now, CM Punk. I see you, EA Minutes. You guys think CM Punk is the best in the mic at this time? I don't think he's the best in the mic, but if he continues to deliver promos like this, it's very good.
I think when he makes it real, and the emotions come across, he's one of the best on the mic. Because every time he gets challenged by somebody and it starts becoming a little bit more real, like that promo last night, I believe that's CM Punk. I believe I'm better than everybody back there.
You can tell that he took it to another level.
I know I'm better than everybody back there. To me, that's who CM Punk is. whether you want to call it arrogant, whatever else. That's who he is, and that's when he's at his best. And to me, you saw that emotion come out last night, and it made for that promo.
I agree. It was a different type of promo than we usually get from CM Punk.
Yes.
Because he typically go, and even the AEW CM Punk, same thing. He's always like giving kudos, and he'll just take a shot at one person. I like the fact that he took shots at everybody and said, "Screw you guys, I'm the best." So I like that. Now him referencing Hogan, I was a little bit shocked about that. It got a pop. Because
because they said I'll rip his arm off and like beat him with it or some shit. Like,
and again,
he said he'd throw his old ass over the ring and make him dust.
Now wait, hold on a second. Now that you say that, Hogan, is he on the wheel today as well? Did he make did that topic make it to the wheel?
Whatever you sent me all made the wheel. So okay, yes.
So hopefully we get the Hogan topic. There is a Hogan topic on the wheel.
There is.
So Hogan is also still always in the news. But you know something? I don't know. I didn't read too much into it. I haven't looked into it. But obviously I was a big fan of CM Punk saying he'll throw his old ass over the rope. I hope he doesn't join the Royal Rumble. I hope that's not like a glimpse of what they're thinking about doing. The thing is that this Royal Rumble is just stacked right now. I haven't seen a Royal Rumble like this in a minute. And
to be honest, they should just bring out like Doink and stuff the rest of the thing. It should be all these guys in like Doink Dink, every other WWE gimmick back in the day.
Well, remember what I told you, or remember what I sent you in the topics for the wheel. There's also a topic about the Royal Rumble, and that as well. So it's like we're all thinking it all correlates together.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope it doesn't happen that Hogan comes and actually competes in the Royal Rumble. Now, I will say this: I would love for CM Punk to be coming out to the Royal Rumble and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden Hogan is like in the stands and they zoom in on Hogan and he's keeping an eye on Punk, looking at him because he acknowledges that he took a shot at Hogan. I think they could run with this. And again, a lot of people don't like Hogan. This is the perfect time for Hogan to be a heel again, in my opinion. Now, do I want to see him to the point where he's wrestling again? Absolutely not. I think he's old for that. But it doesn't mean Hogan cannot, in a way, still be included in the WWE world, especially since his drink is being sponsored and all that stuff. So that's my take on what I think about Punk and Hogan.
All right, so here's the day after Hogan got booed. There was a report that came out that said creative was told, turn Hogan heel and find the best baby face to turn him heel on. My worry is Hogan costs Punk at the Royal Rumble. Because remember, go back to the days when it was Hogan, Sid Justice at the time, that's best known as Sid Vicious. Hogan gets eliminated, reaches up to shake his hand, and then drags him over the top rope, eliminating him. And then now you get, not Hogan wrestling CM Punk, but I believe Hogan would end up becoming like a mentor to somebody to take on Punk or make a NWO faction.
I like that. To
go after Punk is what. And again, I'm not saying I'm not again, but like I would. And this goes where, like, my whole thing is, you did this whole part of the Survivor Series match, War Games, based on Punk telling Paul Heyman what? You owe me a favor.
And he mentioned it in the promo yesterday too.
Favor very clear. And in the promo, he said, if I got to call in favors, I got to do anything else, I'm going to do it. So now if you do that part, I feel like you've just thrown that whole part away. Could you come back to it? Yes. But then why even mention it then if you're just going to go away from it and it means nothing leading up to this WrestleMania?
I mean, that's true. Now, and I will say this, just like No Doubt, I wouldn't mind seeing somebody throw Hogan through the table. That'd be pretty cool.
No, I don't care if he can take the bump or not. Put him through the table.
That's so messed up. No, he needs to be able to take the bump. I don't want no blunders like Kofi and Rey Mysterio on Monday night. I don't want to see that. But I will mention this. I like the idea. But they're gonna have to run with it. Like, I don't want to see like, hey, they do this for like a split second and then they run away from it and they don't continue it. If you're gonna do it, like what you said, keep it a storyline, especially since he's trying to get involved again in WWE. And right now, man, he could be one of the biggest heels because nobody likes Hogan, man. It's crazy how they don't like him, but that's a plus.
Yes, but the reason most people don't like him is a negative.
I like him. I don't care what he says. I could care less. Whatever. It's Hogan. He's gonna say what he's gonna say. I like him because people are booing him, so I like him.
I guess.
I mean, do I agree with his takes? Absolutely not. But again, I think it's cool that they're look, man. They do it all the time. Everything in wrestling that happens in real life, they find a way to put it into the show. So
yeah, no, they do, but also a lot of times you'll see people, apologize for what they've said and work to make it better or whatever, and that part of Hogan hasn't happened.
But look, it could lead to that though. It could eventually lead to that because you know that if Punk is out there, he's gonna throw that out there for him. He's gonna mention it to him, and you're gonna get a reaction from the crowd.
Why put? I mean, look, man. There's still a lot of the guys that were there when the incident happened. That, to me, my understanding was they felt they needed an apology, not a be careful, guys. Cameras are everywhere. Like, okay, but are you going to say what you did wrong? Are you going to take accountability?
No, none.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where the part of that kind of, however you want to look at it, you know what I'm saying? And I get, everybody's like, oh, it's because he's a Trumpster. No, it's not. It's not. It has nothing to do with that.
But Sean, look, remember the whole, we've had topics of when certain wrestlers have passed away. And I've always mentioned to you, hey, I think you should stay away from it, right? Like, I think we had one, I don't remember, I don't know if it was with the Bray Wyatt situation or if it was with, I don't remember which one. And maybe it could have been with wrestler in AEW. I don't remember. But I said, I don't think they should reference it or they should bring it back. I think you should, you as a wrestler, you need to be able to, I think it was Briscoe. I think it might have been the Briscoes. One of the two. But I always say, hey, you as the wrestler make that decision if you want to bring that, whatever happened to you in real life, into the ring. And certain topics are sensitive, like a death of a family member or something like that, But they've gone that far. They've gone that extreme.
He also made speaking on the Briscoes, he made Jay part of his entrance.
He did. I saw that.
Jay's the first one that walks out, then he walks out.
Yeah.
Entrance, you know what I'm saying? So those things like that, and I get it. There's things that happen and there's issues, but like, I don't know, man. And again, when I look at it, I go, okay, he makes an NWO style faction. Who are the members?
I don't think he needs to do a faction with NWO.
Well, it's got to be somebody. I mean, it can't.
But I think he needs to manage somebody, like somebody that he would bring and be like, okay, I brought this person just to defeat Punk. I think that would be really good because you remember in TNA back in the day when what was it, Ric Flair? He tried to do the
he tried to do the evolution type thing,
yeah, and that didn't work out too well. So that's why I don't want to see that with the NWO. But I wouldn't mind him managing, bringing somebody that he feels, linking up with somebody to the point where he's like, look, this guy is gonna be able to take down Punk. I think that would be a good way for Hollywood Hogan, but for Hogan to make kind of his, especially if he wants to get involved, and if WWE wants to involve him. It has to be mutual, and it looks like
it's going to be mutual right now because they've already agreed on the deal with him with the beer. So
yeah, so he wants to be in it,
and it's part of the Netflix deal. So it's Hogan, it's Netflix, it's WWE. I mean, it's like the official beer of WWE on Netflix or something. Like they've got a thing at every arena they go to that's got real American beer or whatever it's called there as like a VIP type thing experience. So, but we'll see. But I was just hoping, again, that
You want to see an apology from Hogan. That's what you want.
No, I don't care, honestly. I don't. Here's my thing, man. It's time for the guys that are doing it to just reap their benefit, give the flowers to the guys. What does Hogan being involved in with anybody right now at this moment, how does that benefit any of the performers?
I don't think they're bringing him to benefit the performers. I think they're bringing him is because, and now this is just me thinking outside the box, I think they have too many live events going on that they're trying to make each live event so big that now they need to find
right now.
That's why. So
now
like
till June, it's Raw, SmackDown. That's it. There's no live events.
I understand that,
There's
but haven't
Saturday night's main events? Those shows like that are going to.
Those are big. They're making them big.
And the pay-per-views, yeah.
And you're looking at Raw, and they're trying to make Raw big continuously. At least I've get that vibe that they're trying to make Raw look like way better than SmackDown. Like right now, Raw is better than SmackDown in my opinion.
Yeah, because they get more money from it.
But then
Netflix gives them more. I mean, hell, they had a hard out on Smack. I get it. It's 3 hours. Don't get me wrong.
I saw that.
I know that. But you got a hard out.
Yeah.
Go into the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which has already been shown on Peacock. So like you're not going out hard to go to a live event or something. Like that just doesn't. I mean, it almost feels to me like USA said they wanted to have Raw and SmackDown, and they got more money from Netflix, and now they're going to be like, okay, well, you're stuck with us with USA for SmackDown, and now we're going to take it out on you.
But again, like I was telling you, you got WrestleMania for 2 days, you got SummerSlam eventually for 2 days, you got Royal Rumble for 2 days, so they need to come up with storylines that could hold 2 days. Yeah, but I think that's why they're gonna rely on that at least for now.
Hogan on a scooter, have him sit there and wave. You don't need to be involved in angles, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm okay. Bring him out, do his wave, let him get booed, let him get cheered, let him do whatever. But to involve him in angles, to me, seems, I hate to say this, but almost seems like a desperate ploy that they felt they needed to have his real American beer. Although I think that's Stone Cold IPA right there.
I think
I would have rather you done that and brought Stone Cold in as much as you're bringing Hogan in.
I think the thing is that you know how WWE is. They go with the flavor that's happening right now. And just like what happened when Cody and The Rock and Roman, where everybody turned on The Rock and you had the Cody crybabies and all that stuff. They ran with it. And the moment that they saw Hogan get booed on that Monday night, they realized, hey, there's just something here, and I think they want to run with it and see where they could get with it. Would it last? Who knows? Would it work? I think it will. The question is, are they going to go that extreme that they want to bring Hogan to wrestle, which I hope that's not the case.
But here's the other question. Do you put Hogan with Punk?
Wrestling-wise, no.
No, definitely not wrestling-wise. But I mean, even in general, like to me, Punk is the one loose wire in that locker room that would put Hogan in a position he might not want to be in the middle of the ring with a live mic.
I think that's the right thing. I think that then if that's the case, yes, you do want to put Punk because people don't like Hogan so much that you want to see that actually happen. So yeah, that would be the right.
True.
That would be the right
thing. I guess, yeah. I mean, but it just seems like it's going to be like, damn.
Oh, so Sammy says, believe it or not, Hogan still sells. Just in 2024, Hulk Hogan had 21 WWE. What does that say?
Mattel the figures probably.
And I'm telling you, when I went to Orlando and I went to the Hogan store, there was people there. There was including myself. There was a lot of people there, and Hogan is still Hogan. Like, good, hate him or love him, everybody knows Hogan is an icon in wrestling. So,
no, I mean, I was on the Rainy Day podcast earlier, and they asked me the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling for me, and I said, Hulk Hogan's got to be on it. Not Terry Bollea, but Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, we're not mainstream. It was him and Vince that took this to what it is. You know, of course, a lot of people now, Stone Cold and all of them, and as I said, Stone Cold was on it. And then I threw my own personal one at the end, which was Dusty. Dusty's my favorite wrestler ever be there, you know. But you have those guys that have made and, you know, elevated pro wrestling. You can't take that away from them. But at this point, I just don't know what he brings other than the Real American Beer sponsorship.
Hey, man, boo.
I guess.
I get the vibe. I get the vibe that they're gonna boo him just as bad as they boo Dom. I don't know why.
I think it might be worse, but we'll
That's
see.
actually a good thing for WWE.
Will be. All right.
Like that.
Second topic of the night, which is your buddy and mine, Penta. The usage of Penta in WWE. He made his debut last week against Chad Gable.
He did.
And that wasn't enough. They liked it so much, they said, hey, you're coming back this week too, buddy, and you're taking on Butch.
Well, sir, you don't.
Dunne. Sorry. We don't call him Pete. We don't call him Butch. I'm sorry.
How dare you say
Pete Dunne. He took on Pete Dunne. Your thoughts on where they're going with the usage of Penta here?
Well, look, I gotta say something. I don't think I saw it in his debut, but in this one, they had like a little circle with sparks going on. Did he have that on the first night? I don't remember seeing that in his entrance.
I'd have to see, but also it might have to do with the setup at the arena they were at.
Yeah,
so maybe certain arenas they can do it and certain they can't.
So when he came out, they had like a revolving sparks that would look pretty badass. I like that. Yes, that looked cool, and if they're gonna keep doing that with him, I like that. Now I will say this: I do have to criticize WWE for the lack of like quality music for Penta. I think they could have done way better with the song that they chose for Penta. That's just me. But has Penta been delivering? Look, man, both matches have been really solid. Like I
think WWE did well putting those two guys against him.
See, look, Fitz Savvy said the same thing. Yeah, his song is like so whack, bro. Like they should.
It's WWE-ish.
They did like a whack song for him, bro.
Yeah, it's WWE. They own it. That's why they're not gonna. It's not gonna be they're not gonna pay for rights to songs. They got the deal or whatever they got now. I think they got in-house music guys now or something.
I will say this: in-ring performance for Penta, really solid. The first two matches. I want to see where they go with this because I don't want him to just get fed. And of course, he's the new toy, right? He's the new toy in WWE. So people like him. They mentioned his mask. I think Michael Cole was the one that said, hey, buy the mask and all that stuff. So right now, he's like, the hot stuff. How long is it going to last? How long are we going to be able to just go ahead and see Penta? Because again, he could wrestle, but can they run with this for another 3 or 4 months? I don't think so. So they need to start eventually they're going to have to start creating some storylines with Penta. I don't know. I like the fact how I like what they did with Chad and they did that. So maybe they have something creeping up with that where Chad was like, yo, like I don't have I'm having issues with luchadors and I need some help. And I think he went to the right person for.
Yeah, Dom gave him a number. I wonder whose number it was.
Maybe it was Hollywood Hogan. Not just playing. But that's interesting. See, now see that those are the little tidbits that I like from WWE. I like all that, man. Those things are creative.
Keep it going, and the fact that they built this up too, because Gable even said, "I've lost the Mysterio. I can't fight the luchadors. I need to learn." And at least it puts some more stuff into it. And
I like it.
Look, I like the uses of Penta. Here's my problem with what WWE used to do. And this is where I think with Triple H, maybe they get it better. It used to be you get one flippy guy, one luchador. It was Rey Mysterio. And then they kept trying to find a replacement for Rey Mysterio. It was Sin Cara. No. We bring this guy, Bob, this guy, Andrade. No, he's too good. Let's take his mask off and make him they make him Andrade. It's all this, like we need to find the next, instead of saying, let's just bring in great talent, which Penta is, and if one of them take off,
wrong with it.
And then they do. Instead of just having, we got this, and they Los Garces, both of them came in with masks at one point, And they said, they're not going to make it as luchadors because for some reason, WWE feels that if you have a mask on, you might have to do 650,000 flips.
Well, you had a mask
Apparently,
on last show.
They haven't seen Juan Cena, Mr. America. Well, none of those guys did flips, and they wore masks.
You had a mask last weekend. I didn't see.
I did, and I'm not flipping.
Yeah,
I might flip out, but I ain't gonna flip.
I agree with you, and that's the scary part. That's the scary part. Remember what I told you from day one? I'm afraid that they're not gonna know how to use him. Again, he's the new toy right now.
But I feel like with what I'm seeing so far, they are because actually, if you watched a little bit of what he did more high risk maneuvers this match than he did with Chad Gable. And if you watch what's going on in Raw, Seth did a plancha senton or some stuff. Like you're watching other guys do moves now that you normally didn't see in WWE. Now, I'm not saying they're going to open up the playbook for everybody.
They better not.
But we'll see if it does, you know. And let's see. No Doubt asked what happened to Butch's tag team partner. He's in NXT. Ridge Holland. He's down in NXT. And then they tease a story, which you talked about it. Which I do like what they're doing with Penta. I hope they, as you said, keep this going and he doesn't get just labeled as a luchador. Like, let's make it mean something, man.
Yeah.
Let's make it mean something. Because again, like if you get Gable and even Made in America, you know, the Creed brothers to attack them, you could do a match at one point somewhere down the road, maybe a Saturday main event, maybe at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Because I think what they're going to do is they're going to feed him people till after Royal Rumble, and then maybe he'll slide into a feud more after that. But why couldn't you do? And again, I don't know if Dragon Lee's injured or not, but Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, and Penta versus Gable and the Creeds.
That's not a bad idea. But do you wanna put all them together? Do you?
I would like to see it one time. I'm not saying every night. I'm not saying Penta joins LWO or anything like that.
You better.
I'm saying a one-time match. They come out. Now you got all the luchadors against Gable and his guys. Since Gable's doing this whole angle about, you know, he can't beat luchadors. You know, again, but then again, I don't know who the number was to. Yeah. Because what if the number was to one person and now he comes and he helps Chad Gable, and then what we end up getting is down the line whenever, because I think they said it's May is when Phoenix's contract is up.
Do you think that they might bring Ray Phoenix, and Ray Phoenix is the guy who taught Chad Gable how to beat?
Well, I don't know if that, but my thinking was actually the other way around. Chad Gable and whoever is on the letter is getting the better of Penta, and Penta brings his brother in.
The question is, who can it be?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know who the hell it could be, because when I look at it, I go, okay.
You know who it is? I know who it is.
Go ahead, say it.
It's Io Sky.
You think so? Io Sky.
Did you guys see that? I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm saying that because Io Sky actually had a match with Penta.
Yes.
And
actually, everybody in that group, what Damage Control has fought Penta.
Really? I didn't know all that. I thought it was only Io Sky who fought.
I had a thing where there's a picture of Penta and it's like the whole Damage Control behind him.
Oh, he's a lucky guy. He's a lucky guy. I would fight Dakota Kai every night. How about that?
I bet you would.
Nah, I love my girl.
Would you let her win?
She could take victories all day.
Every title, huh? Every title.
She's gonna beat me every single time. Pause. No, but
there'd be no belt that she wouldn't win from you, huh?
No. She could handle me easily in the ring. I was so mad. I know it's a little bit off the topic. I was so mad that they had Io Sky pin the girl instead of.
I was like, you couldn't even give Dakota a win in the.
I know they gave it to Io Sky out of all. Like, come on, man. Dakota
I'm starting to become a fan. I'm starting to jump on that bandwagon.
Whoa! Finn Sammy pulling it out of person there.
Aleister Black.
And they could. Did they ever have a feud in AEW? I don't remember. That's the only way I could kind of look and see how they correlate it, because you have to see who he has had.
Yeah, feud with. Didn't Lucha Brothers and House of Black have a little bit of a run?
I think so.
I think they
think
did for
so.
the tag team
That
titles.
would be very good. That would be.
Penta didn't change his gloves when he holds them together. They say Lucha Brothers on the bottom still.
Yeah.
So, I mean, which it's another worst kept secret in wrestling. Everybody knows once Phoenix gets out of that deal, he's jumping over to WWE. Same with Aleister Black. I mean, Malachi Black, whatever you want to call him. We'll see, but
If you bring if Aleister Black or Malachi Black come back, would you keep him as Aleister Black or would you bring him back as Malachi Black? I actually like the name Malachi Black better than Aleister Black. That's just me. I know it's like very minimal, but
but I think the Aleister works better for remember they used to have him raise up on that board with the candles.
Yes.
And do all that. If you bring him back like what AEW had him as, I think the Malachi works better, the darkness and all that. But I think the Malachi works better, or Aleister works better, like Vampire Rising Up. I don't know. This to me, depending on how they want to do it, I think the darker is Malachi. And then, that way it's Aleister to me. That's
and again, you could
very minimal, but again, I think he'll go back to Aleister Black just because WWE owns Aleister Black.
Yeah. They don't want to promote anything from AEW, so they'll definitely change him.
Oh, what I wonder though is, do they call him Aleister Black or do they do it something else since he was Malachi Black over there?
I mean, possibly. I mean, they didn't change Jade Cargill and they didn't change Penta, so
yeah.
But
Cargill was his, but they did Penta's Penta regardless. I mean, those guys. It's like Rey Mysterio. You can't change.
No.
By the time they make the names for themselves, you're not changing that up. So, again, it's just interesting to know somebody that went from one to the other now back. He'll be the first one to do that, right? Or no?
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, technically, I guess Cody would be the first that went back there. But during the realm of AEW, WWE, I think Aleister Black's the first to go there and then back. Because Cody did the independents and then they started AEW and then he went back. Jade went from there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I'm thinking of the NXT.
So you're right. They did do the.
Oh no, Sean Spears. Wouldn't Sean Spears be? Yeah, Sean Spears.
Right. Sean Spears. Yes.
Sean Spears would be one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but he went back more for coaching than actually in ring.
Yeah, I've noticed.
They used him in ring to work with some of the guys, but he's more there. Yeah, you're right. They did change the Mysterio, the I to the Y. Yeah. Yeah, they do little things like that. You're right. You're right.
Good catch on that one. You're right.
All right, let's go to our next topic. It is the greatest topic of the night.
It is.
As brought up by the man, the one, the only, this guy right down here.
Yes, sir.
It was Frankie Fresco, Dom, leader of the Judgment Day. JD means Judgment Day. Sorry, they don't give me enough room on my sheet to put everything. But should Dom Mysterio become the leader of Judgment Day?
Now, I will say this. So the reason I brought this topic up is because obviously Finn Balor's hurt, right? And if you saw, JD McDonough said, hey, I want a shot at the titles. And Dom Mysterio was the first one to jump in and be like, hey, man, we could do this together. And if you look at that, you look at Carlitos. Carlitos didn't do anything. Carlitos agreed with it. Carlitos could have raised his hand and say, hey, I want to be part of it.
Bringing unification to the Judgment Day.
Correct.
Dom Mysterio.
He is maybe taking the realm. And then here's the other issue. He already has Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is like teasing him with like, hey, I don't like you, but I still do, and stuff like that. Raquel Pennington is just there. So I don't know, for a strange moment right there, I just felt like we're gonna start seeing the shift in the Judgment Day where maybe Dom Mysterio is gonna be the leader now, the Judgment Day. Now,
and he's making decisions too. He's giving numbers to Chad Gable. He's working affiliations. I mean,
and here's the thing. It's a perfect
moves, baby. Boss moves.
It's a perfect segue for when Finn Balor comes back. You could now start a feud between them two, saying, "Yo, who deserves to be the leader of the Judgment Day?" And you could make the Judgment Day a little bit more relevant than what it has been, because obviously they've been dragging on the Finn Balor, Damian Priest feud.
But that's the problem that happened with the whole Finn Balor, Damian Priest, right? I mean, it was like a battle for the owner of. They could have made it the battle, but then they end up being alienating Rhea and Damian.
Well, remember, and Finn Sammy says, I expected Liv to be the leader. But if you kind of think about it, Finn Sammy, there's a lot.
Is that Finn Sammy or is that just Finn's post?
Or Finn's post.
Are they the same? I don't know. That's like, I mean,
I
TV as Sammy. I don't know if that's Sammy.
Oh, maybe it isn't. I thought it's the same photo. My bad.
Oh,
yeah, it kind of looks like him. But I will say this: at one point in time, I did mention I felt like the Judgment Day was going to be taken over by Rhea Ripley and Dom Mysterio. So maybe
it is
maybe.
Sammy. Okay, all right. You're right. You're right.
So
I fall back. I apologize.
So there's a very good chance. There's a very, very good chance that instead of getting Rhea and Dom, we get Dom and Liv holding down the Judgment Day, which would be pretty good.
With what happened last night, I noticed Liv says, "Come on, Dom," and walks away. Didn't Raquel stay there?
She did.
I think there might be even more conniving going on back.
But notice that Dom didn't go. Dom stayed.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Who stayed? It was Dom, Raquel,
everybody.
JD. Yeah, exactly. The Judgment Day stayed.
See, this is the good part, and this is and I think you can make the Judgment Day relevant with Dom being the leader because of that, because of the fact that
I think right now you keep teasing this.
That's a good idea.
I don't think you make him the leader right now. I think
not right away.
I think what happens is this: you have him as the leader. Maybe they win the titles. Maybe they, if you want this to work, they win the tag titles, JD and Dom. Then Finn comes back and says, he's the leader. Da 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 da. But Dom's making the moves. Dom's made the affiliations. And then, they don't have to show it on TV or whatever, but maybe they show a meeting of Dom, Raquel, like the Judgment Day meeting without Finn, and then they get into the ring, and Finn's like, I'm the leader of Judgment Day, and then the beatdown happens.
I think that's good. And not only that, but there's so many angles you could take.
But they can't drag it out like they dragged out the Rhea, Damian.
Yeah, no.
It's got to be a little bit quicker. I'm not saying they can't drag it for an episode or two to make you think about it. But they can't just, you're just like, okay, let's do it. Are we going to do it or not? And see what's happening. Do it.
And not only that, Sean, but think about it. If for some reason you could even twist it even more to the point where they turn on Finn Balor, and then when you feel that Finn Balor has the upper hand on the Judgment Day, Dom betrays Liv Morgan and brings back Mommy into the Judgment Day, and it's Mommy and Dom get back on the Judgment Day. Can you believe that? Would you believe that? Like, imagine you go and Liv Morgan is there, and he betrays Liv Morgan, and all of a sudden, Mommy's back. And Mommy's like, they've coordinated it. They've come to some type of agreement where they know that in a relationship, you go through up and downs, right? Sometimes you go through some issues, but you get through it. Because at the end of the day, there's just that connection between the two.
But see, if you bring back Rhea into that, I think more people start liking Dom than hating him. To me, I think you make Dom the playboy. He moves on to Raquel. And then you get rid of Raquel by him moving on to whoever.
I don't think Raquel has enough firepower for that, though.
But I'm saying, that's how you and maybe Raquel's just there for a week or two until you bring up whoever else you wanted to be up there. But you make Dom the playboy as the boss. I go through women. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be even more, because now it's like, you got Rhea, you got Liv, and then ultimately at some point, it all backfires on him. At some point it all, blows up in his face, but you could run with it for a little bit.
I think you could, man. I think you could. I think if you
could make him the playboy boss. Like, I'm the boss. Everybody's going to listen to me.
Yeah, just change his character back to like the pimp. Remember the Godfather?
Yeah.
When he used to bring all the other hoes, I guess you would call them.
Whole train, man. It was the whole train.
It was the whole train, bro.
Man, come on.
I remember that. That was classic right there. That was classic right there. But
Yep.
But it's a good idea. I like the fact that you're right. They should tease it, continue teasing it.
Yeah.
Now, it also gives Finn Balor time to if he needs to recover or
whatever
whatnot.
the healing is, or if it's just a storyline injury or whatever else, because you don't take that move and then show up the next.
Yeah,
I like the fact that they didn't show up the next week. You know what I'm saying? Like that to me, that's smart. It's more of the storyline gimmick there. Vince Post said injuries made a story way too long. It did, but at the same time, you could have done some things a little differently with the storyline too to speed it up if you wanted to.
I think the problem right now is that look at Damian Priest, where he's kind of fallen off, right? Like now, what is left now for Damian Priest? Because you had the feud with Gunther, you had the feud with Finn.
Yeah.
Now what's left for him? Like
I can tell you what's going to happen next week. He's going to get on Raw on Netflix and be like, "I'm entering the 2025 Royal Rumble," because that's what everybody's doing nowadays.
The only way I could probably see Damian Priest be able to like be relevant again is, hey, some way somehow they probably bring Bad Bunny and Bad Bunny does something with him or something like that, since Bad Bunny wants to come back. That's the only thing. Memo. I see you, Memo. But yeah, so we'll see what happens.
All right, next question for you, Mr. Frankie Fresco, is where's Roman?
I think he took like a vacation, like what he typically does. Doesn't he like decide where he wants to like come back and wrestle? Like he disappears for a couple of weeks and then he comes back. He's like, I'll be back. This is normal. We get this from Roman all the time, Sean.
He's just going to go to Pensacola and hang out?
Well, he can't go to Pensacola right now because it's snowing out there. Shout out to everybody in the Florida Panhandle. I saw that there's snow over there. So be careful out there, guys.
Hey, you broke the news on the Big O show earlier.
Yeah, my sister's been sending me messages, and bro, like I told her, I was like, look, since there's a lot of snow in Pensacola right now, and there's snow all over the Panhandle, like you need to do some things to your car. So like, like if the snow because they have like about 6 feet of snow right now. That never freaking happens in Florida.
Yeah, 6 feet?
Yeah, so I told them, I was like, you need to if the snow is covering your exhaust pipe, you need to move that out of the way, because if you don't move it out of the way, it could damage your car. And then I also said, hey, be careful with how much snow accumulates on your vehicle, because it could concave your roof. So you gotta start taking some of that snow off the top of your roof and stuff like that. And I said, don't even think about driving, bro, because they don't have any salt over there. So
yeah, they're not prepared for that, man.
Hell no, they're not. It reminded.
Maybe if it was like, a minimal.
Yeah. Inches, homie. I don't know if it's inches. Well, yeah, you're right. 6 inches probably. Yeah, you're right. You're not 6 feet. You're right. You're right.
I was like, I'm 6 foot. That's the hell.
Because that's a lot of snow. You're absolutely right. John Cena eliminates Roman Reigns to win the Royal Rumble. I'm calling it.
No.
If
John Cena wins the Royal Rumble, I might have to rethink a lot of my wrestling.
I agree. I think.
But honestly, though, too, the way that he set it up when he came back on Netflix, it does make me feel like he's going to win it. Because the only way I get a chance to win my 17th heavyweight title is by winning the Royal Rumble.
No doubt. Just letting you know, they're supposed to be getting another like 6 inches of snow between tonight and tomorrow. And it says that their snow is not going to stop snowing until Friday. So they're in some big issues over there, but whatever. Anyways,
it's going to be cold till Friday.
Well, we're getting snow. We're getting some cold over here over the Friday too. I think we're going to drop to like the 30s and 40s.
Hey, hold on a minute, Memo. I never said I wanted that piece of shit Lesnar to win. All right? That wasn't me. That's that bald-headed mofo there, not this bald-headed guy. I don't want Lesnar back. I don't want that.
How do you play a song?
I say step on into the future, the present.
Look, man, yeah, exactly. Like if you're gonna like, come on. If you're bringing Hollywood, if you're bringing Hogan, we don't want to see John Cena win a Royal Rumble. I'm sorry. Let's just keep it real. I'd rather see Juan Cena.
You know what they might do? Hogan pulls John Cena out, and then we get Mr. America against Juan Cena in a luchador match. At the
or maybe Dom gave Chad Juan Cena's.
Oh my God. Could you imagine if Juan Cena turns heel on his final year in pro wrestling?
Hey man, I've always said to myself, I always liked John Cena when he was a heel.
Oh,
I liked John Cena when he was a heel.
he hasn't been a heel in so long. Since the days of Thugonomics.
I've told Memo, because Memo always tells me, Frank, you're a John Cena hater. I said, look,
Word life.
I loved when he was Thugonomics, when it was Word Life.
Oh.
I like that Cena. After that, that you can't see me crap. I hated him. I wasn't a big fan. I don't hate him, but I wasn't a big fan.
But you know what? He wouldn't be living in that mansion if he
That's true.
would have kept on with the thug life, because ain't nobody buying a chain with a lock on it.
No, he had to cater to the kids. He
Yeah.
had to cater
Hustle, loyalty, and respect, baby.
He sure did. But what do you think about Roman? Where is he, bro? Talk to us. Where
This
is
is the whole thing that's funny, man. You had him and Solo, you know, the first match on Netflix, Raw on Netflix, for the tribal chief. Roman wins it, and he hasn't been nowhere to be found in 2 weeks. Not on SmackDown, not even just showing up. Paul Heyman's been the talker for him. Like, I don't get what. We're 2 weeks away from Royal Rumble, right?
Yeah.
You're exactly you got Saturday night's main events coming up. Like you're just nowhere to be found. Like, not even when he won it the first time, right? It was the acknowledgement of the tribal chief.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't gotten that.
Well, we didn't. I mean,
Not the ceremony this time. Because think about it. This is where it gets a little bit interesting to me. If he does that ceremony, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Uso said he's moved on. Right? Sami Zayn, obviously, with some of the stuff going on with him, he's moved on. Jimmy Uso is still getting beat down by everybody.
Yeah.
So you got Jimmy and Roman there to do the acknowledgement ceremony. If you want to move Roman off of the bloodline or whatever you want to do now is the time to have somebody else be that person. Like, you had Solo come out last week on SmackDown, get booed, not say a word, walk off and leave. And then Jacob Fatu grabs the mic and he says, you can boo me, you can cheer me, but you will respect me. And I'm just getting started. Not the bloodline. He said, I'm just getting started. Then they had him come in and at the end, do all his stuff. And then Tama Tonga's the one bringing him back. The one leading him, trying to hold him back and be the voice of reasoning. So it just feels like it's so discombobulated right now.
I just
all you need is Roman to be there.
I just feel that Solo losing to Roman was such a big blow to Solo right now. Like, it really hurt his story.
I don't think so.
I feel like it hurt his story.
And
it's gonna be a minute before people know, like, where does he go from here? Because he was sold as like kind of like the enforcer for a minute before these guys come in, and then before Jacob Fatu came in, and then all of a sudden now it's like, where does he go now? Like, he doesn't even have the respect of Roman. He doesn't have respect of his.
That's his story. That's going to be a story now.
But then who's going to be his feud? Who's he feuding with?
He doesn't have to have one right now. The whole thing now is to see, okay, is the crowd going to start taking sympathy on him, or just boo him every time he comes out? Because again, what really set me to believing that Jacob Fatu is going to destroy Solo Sikoa at some point is the fact that he said, I'm just getting started. He didn't say we're just getting started. The bloodline's just getting started. No, he said, I'm. Meaning he's going out on his own.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Solo did when Roman lost to Cody. He went out on his own and started the new bloodline. Not saying that Jacob Fatu is going to start a bloodline, but it's going along that play line. And as you said, where does that leave Solo? I think it's going to leave him in the area to where either they're going to try to see, okay, will the fans believe that if he gets beat down and beat down and beat down, that Roman might be the one to come and save him? And then he's got to bow down to the OTC, the only tribal chief, and go back that way to fight Jacob Fatu?
Now, let me ask you this, because Memo's mentioned it on the chat board. He said, with that being said, you think they'll fit The Rock in WrestleMania with Roman this year or next? I just don't see, like, if you're going to put Roman against The Rock, you have to have some type of feud, I think. And I just feel because he gave him the follow on that Monday night, right now they're like buddy. How can you just say, hey, we're just gonna have a friendly match? I don't think people are gonna get sold on it. So there has to be some type of betrayal. Either The Rock has to be a heel or baby, and vice versa with Roman. One of them has to be the good guy and one of them has to be the bad guy in order for it to work, in my opinion. I don't think having good guy versus good guy is gonna be that interesting, but I don't think people are gonna buy into that.
I will give you my answer: the Raw and SmackDown after the Royal Rumble. Because at that point, if they don't start pushing Rock Roman kind of, even little eggs or whatever, I don't believe it's going to happen. I think you need a full 2 months to build it up to where it can be, again, not saying that they needed to be like a sellout or anything, but think about that Cody and all that happened right after Royal Rumble. That build-up to that WrestleMania was probably one of the best build-ups in a long time.
Yes.
They would almost have to duplicate something like that, not because Rock and Roman need it, but to make the match, to me, mean more than just, oh, great, we're getting The Rock versus Roman. What does it mean? Final boss versus tribal chief. I feel like they can do so much in that match and make it mean so much more than what it is. Think about it. You could cut promos with The Rock back in Hawaii with tribal leaders or whatever. There's so much with what The Rock can do and Rock can bring in and everything there. Like, I want it built up. I don't want it just to be like, hey, you're getting Rock Cena. You're getting Rock, Rock Roman. Because, no, to be honest, though, that's how I kind of felt, because the first Rock Cena came back, and it was only like a month they built it up. Yeah. They built it up well, don't get me wrong, with the whole writing on the wrist and Cena and all that stuff. They did a lot of good stuff. But it was more just, okay, I'm watching The Rock, and everybody thought it was Rock's last match.
Yeah, they did.
And then he won in the 305.
Oh, yeah.
And he did favors for Cena in New York the next year. But like, for me, this match to me needs more than just passing the baton and passing the legacy of to me, that's what this match should be more about. The Rock passing the legacy of, the Samoan wrestling family to the new leader to take it past 2025. Like, to me, it should be more. That's why I say go find tribal leaders, build it up. The Rock being like the final boss, and he got the title and all this stuff that he's doing. Build it up for that, to where now when he beats The Rock, he beat the final boss, not the boss of WWE, but the boss of the family, of the Samoan legacy.
The problem here, Sean, about that is that if you do that, you kind of want to not have The Rock wrestler ever again then, because he's already passing the baton of the legacy of the tribal or whatever.
No, but you're only passing the legacy of the tribal. You're not passing The Rock's wrestling legacy, though. You're making Roman more than just the tribal chief.
But does Roman need it, though? Because he's already won more.
Again, what you need, to me, you have to have more than this, than just being Roman versus Rock.
I agree.
That alone will sell, don't get me wrong. But me liking stories and everything else, and then you've done all this stuff with the bloodline angle. To me, the final episode of the bloodline angle should be Roman beating The Rock.
I agree, but it has to be some type of like betrayal or something that entices us to tune in. Just having their names is okay, but I want more.
That's what I'm saying. It's got the betrayal will be all of the stuff building up. Because if he does that with other tribal chiefs, isn't he sending a message to the tribal chief?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In the Hollywood style, the Rock could go on a set and just cut a freaking promo and make it look like, you know, a scene from whatever. You know, like you can get that style to me, and that would be more of, because at this point right now, look, I thought The Rock was the one pulling the strings with Solo. That's why I thought, oh, everything's coming together at the Raw on Netflix.
Yeah.
And then we got jolly old Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
We barely got The Rock. We got this. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? That's it. And then he goes on NXT and he says, oh, I hear everybody complaining about, oh, be nice to Cody. Now I'm nice to Cody and nobody wants that. And you know, you still didn't get anything. You really didn't get anything on NXT except, hey, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So like, then I was like, okay.
And he almost got cut off too.
Yeah. And then it's like, what are we doing now? And then Sammy said, I think that was the story, but they abandoned it. I don't know that they've abandoned it. I just think.
Look, I know what it is.
I mean,
I know where they're leading up to.
Because if they were just going to do Roman Rock last year, all of this part of the storyline wouldn't have been there.
I know where they're going with this. I say Hulk Hogan comes out during Royal Rumble instead of like costing CM Punk the Royal Rumble, he costs Roman Reigns, and we get Hulk Hogan versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
Are they going to do the stare down and then look the other way?
Yes, they have to. They have to. If only Hogan could wrestle. I don't think Hogan could wrestle. I would like to see Hogan versus Roman. Do you know how many people would boo the crap out of Hogan? That would be great, dude. That would be awesome.
It would be the exact opposite of what happened with him and The Rock at WrestleMania when everybody started chanting for Hogan.
Yeah.
And booing The Rock.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know why. Again, man, people are so. I get it. I know what he said.
Oh Jesus, Josh.
He's throwing some comments out there.
What a shot! Cena will win the title, become the 17-time champion. We'll discuss that in a little bit. But then Rock needs to retire. He's got nothing to prove. Like what is this? Baseball? Football?
The Rock
is wrestling, man. What are you proving?
The Rock is a friggin' main attraction. Like anytime The Rock shows, people tune in. Why would you retire him?
I idea Josh is one of those guys like you. Let's bring Lesnar back.
Whoa.
Lesnar's got a lot to prove, and that Goldberg too. They got a lot to prove.
We might have to, the wheel might have a topic there that we could probably bring that up.
I'm wondering how many times we have to spend to get the topics we want to get.
All right, so miscellaneous WWE. Let's bring it back to the original topic that you wanted at the beginning of the show.
All right. All
right. So now, what was in your mind at the beginning of the show, or did you forget already?
I didn't forget, man. Why are you trying to egg me on here, man?
No. I'm just trying to help you out. Go ahead. We want to hear what you were gonna say or your thoughts at the beginning of the show.
What was I talking about?
I don't remember. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't remember.
I remember it was TNA. Oh, it was the whole thing of the WWE TNA. Okay. It says NXT and TNA,
not WWE and TNA.
Not WWE and TNA, yes.
But they were teasing a lot of.
There was talk about they're teasing a lot, and then there was talk. You know, my thing was, and there was talk about. Oh my goodness, sorry. I'm behind the scenes. I'm trying to do more stuff than just one thing here. So there was talk about earlier on, and hopefully we don't land on this, but if we do, we do. So there was talk of Joe Hendry, who won the title, and then he went on Busted Open Radio.
He did.
And he was asked, there's one person you would call out because of the merger. And this is what threw me off a little bit, because he threw out the name John Cena.
Sure did.
And he said because he grew up on him and he would love to have a match. He's always wanted to have the match. And again, my whole thing was, it said NXT, not... And then you said, oh, who will show up? Will any TNA guys show up on the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
You know, that's the part that is kind of iffy to me right now on this whole thing. Because to me, I think it should have been better off. I think they would have been better off just saying WWE and TNA has made an agreement. And then just kept pushing over. But I feel like they put the NXT in there so nobody would be like, oh, John Cena might show up on TNA.
But
I feel like they said NXT.
But you saw what John Cena did, right?
We do.
On Twitter and on Instagram, he posted TNA.
Yeah, TNA. No, I know he posted it. But Triple H retweeted their pay-per-view. Shawn Michaels retweeted their pay-per-view. There was a lot of WWE stars retweeting the stuff that was going on the TNA Genesis pay-per-view. So I understand that, but I feel like the NXT was put in there so that there wouldn't be a lot of this talk that we're getting now. Because if you wanted to have this talk, which I believe might have been even better for WWE and TNA, if they would have just said WWE and TNA have reached an agreement and not just put NXT.
The issue here is, obviously Joe Henry is the TNA champion. He is also TNA before WWE. So just think about it. If you put Joe Henry versus John Cena, is it really going to help WWE or is it going to help more TNA? And I know they have an agreement. I mentioned this to a couple of my friends. I said, I think Joe Henry versus John Cena is the route to go. And if I was one person that would like to see what his final match would be, it would probably be that. I would like to see Joe Henry versus John Cena because I think Joe Henry could not only take the loss, I think John Cena leaves as a winner, but I also feel it will elevate Joe Henry even more than what he is. But again, the question, the little bit of like, hey, would they be able to go that route? Is that he is not a WWE wrestler. He's a TNA wrestler. So you're helping TNA. I don't care that you have an agreement. You're still helping TNA more. You don't want to help TNA to the point where all of a sudden he's bigger. He's the biggest star out there, and he's not in WWE roster. So unless WWE can pull like a Tony Khan and just sway him over to the WWE world. But personally, that's where my thoughts are when it comes to it. Do I want to see Cena versus Henry? I do want to see Cena versus Henry. Are we gonna get it? I don't know. And again, the whole thing about, hey, NXT instead of WWE, I think WWE is the type of company that they'll run with whatever they got selling. So if they see,
here's the wording of the agreement. It says, this multi-year deal aims to provide unprecedented opportunities for NXT and TNA wrestlers, enhancing their exposure and experience across the brands. It says, the partnership could lead to increased ratings and better TV deals for TNA while giving NXT talent additional avenues for development outside the WWE system. That was added. I read that outside of the thing. But again, everything says NXT and TNA. It doesn't say, think about this. Jordynne Grace is done with TNA. She's going to WWE now.
I wonder how TNA feels about that.
Well, she did the right thing. She lost to whoever they wanted her to lose to, which was Tessa Blanchard, which is whatever, it is what it is.
But you know that Jordynne Grace, in my opinion, probably is the biggest female star in TNA. Now they're losing her.
Yeah, no, but see, that's where I think, again, sometimes I think you outgrow your area. Jordan Grace
You
did
think?
all she could do in TNA. She did all she could do in TNA, man. What else is she going to do?
But you as an owner of TNA.
Yeah, but you're not going to deal with the WWE money because I keep offering her money to stay. WWE's going to raise it by $1. And then what? What am I going to do? Hope WWE goes, oh, no, she's not worth it, even though they've been trying for the last 6 years. I mean,
WWE is going to obviously get her.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, again, but I think also what this might do is, again, if Jordan Grace goes there and she goes to NXT, she still can perform on TNA. So you still have her, technically.
If you bring Jordan Grace to NXT, bro, that roster is going to be even more stacked.
Well, I mean, the only one that would make sense is probably SmackDown. Or, I mean, again, depends on what. Because
Well, look, they're bringing Roxanne Perez with Bailey a lot, so maybe
I think Roxanne's going to Raw.
I think Roxanne is going to leave NXT. Yeah, I think she's going to move on from NXT and go to one of the other two.
Yeah. She goes to Raw. You got Charlotte. They started playing vignettes during SmackDown.
I saw that, yeah.
So she probably making her go back. Becky, they held off on. They're going to wait. She'll probably make her debut at the Rumble or re-debut.
I hope so.
At the Rumble. So now you've added all that top. Like, I don't know, man. I really don't know where.
Well, it's a good point right there. Dom Mysterio started, maybe Dom.
That's a good one, buddy. That's a good one. That'd be like.
I'm telling you, there's so many possibilities with Dom. Like it's funny. Like they could run with this.
You could make him the womanizer, and as well as being the boss. And the whole thing is his whole gimmick is he's just trading out the women.
Yeah, I mean, who better than a guy with a mullet and with a stash?
Oh, that stash too. That stash.
He actually touched the stash. It went like this and stuff while he was dying. That was pretty slick. Look, man. At the end of the day, damn, I can't believe Jordan Grace going. I hope they don't bring her to NXT. I think there's too much female talent over there. That roster is too stacked with women.
Yeah, but when you bring her to SmackDown, what do you like? I mean, you'd have to do what you're doing with Penta on SmackDown with her. You have to put her against, the ones that are Natalya.
Well, we haven't seen Natalya in a minute.
Well, no, she's been doing the speed stuff.
Oh my God, they still have that going on? I thought they were getting rid of that crap.
I love that stuff. The fastest wrestling on Wednesdays, man. It's the greatest thing ever.
Who's the speed champion for the guys?
I believe it's who was it now?
It's not Andrade Elo, right?
Oh, he lost it. Yeah.
I don't watch
the champion now.
And see that's what I was telling you, man. When you keep mentioning, hey, why they're bringing Hogan and why they're bringing all this stuff is because they got so much going on. They got speed. They got the Saturday night event.
I think that's where Hogan needs to be, on speed, brother.
And they got the 2 SummerSlam days, the 2 WrestleMania days, the 2 Royal Rumble days. They got so much freaking shows. They need storylines left and right.
Look. You know how WWE does pay-per-views, okay? If they just put title matches as the card, they've got the card done. You've got a U.S. title, Intercontinental title for men and women. That's 4 matches. You've got Raw tag team titles, SmackDown tag team titles, ladies tag team titles, the women's championship, the men's championship. You've got 9 matches just there. And I'm not even throwing the speed titles on there.
Oh, don't throw the speed titles, please. Just because they're titles doesn't mean they're going to be good matches and that they're legit.
You build up feuds for each match.
Because I'm already telling you this. I'm calling it right now. Chelsea Green, her title win right now seems like whack. Like it doesn't. Like I'm already noticing. I'm like, oh, I thought that was gonna elevate her, and then all of a sudden, I'm seeing like they're just.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Dragon Lee is the speed champion.
Wow, look at that! I didn't even know he was doing speed. No. WWE pay-per-view needs to go back to Sunday. No,
man, why are you doing that to us?
Why? People got to work on Monday. Dirty Dom getting around Sagna. Yeah.
And Candice LeRae is the women's champion, by the way.
Steven Gonzalez, what up, guys? For some reason, my stupid phone never gave me the alert that you guys were on. Shake my head. I'm pissed. It's okay, sir. You made it.
Buddy,
You
I
made it in.
apologize. I'll make sure I send you an alert next time.
You're in. And then
Josh, why do pay-per-views need to go back to Sunday? Let me tell you something, man. I was dragging ass on Monday because I had to stay up to watch the TNA and the GCW pay-per-views. Why can't they be on Saturdays? Why? Because you got your college football? There's no college football right now. You got to go out and party?
there
Is that what you do, Josh?
there was college football yesterday, but
It was Monday, and I watched Raw.
you had NFL on Saturday too.
Please, buddy.
Just saying.
Sunday I didn't even watch the Bills game. You want to know why? I was watching TNA Genesis and GCW.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not watch the Genesis. I did see on X, and I was keeping track. That's how I know Joe Hendry won. So I was like, yes. And when he won, I definitely posted it. I was like, yes, he won. But I wasn't watching. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was watching football games.
Look at you faking stuff.
I was watching the football games, and I'm a man of God. I was at church.
You do that in the morning.
I was up late, so I ended up going to church like 6 o'clock in the evening.
Okay, all right. Oh well, Frankie. Was that brother BXL?
I don't know who that is, but shout out to him. I like your picture, bro. Columbia photo. Hell yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's the flag of Colombia, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, you're gonna see my bald head. I think that's a Colombian flag.
All right. Anything else WWE you want to talk about before we head to this wheel?
Trying to think here. Hold on, one last thing. So Monday night we had everything covered, pretty much. I was a little bit pissed about Dakota Kai not getting the pin.
Sports entertainment guys in the building.
There you go. Anything on the chat board? Anything you guys
want to cover
on the miscellaneous WWE before we move on to
and move on to AEW?
Because I did. Obviously, there was a little bit on the chat board.
If you're on X, if you're on Facebook, you can send in a chat, and we get it here on our chat board. So if you're listening to us on anywhere on other than YouTube channels, go ahead and send in.
So it says, "Oh man, oh damn, Frankie, a man of church, damn. So no more joking with you. I have to keep it PG. Sorry, Frankie. Nah, man. Like I love. Look, man, I'm a man of church, but that doesn't mean I still don't curse and stuff like that. I love God, but at the same time, I'm still a human being. God knows I am a sinner. So as long as you ask for forgiveness, you're good. But this is not about church. This is about wrestling. Hogan. I'm proud of Hogan. I think Hogan is great.
Oh God.
And again, shout out to my boy CM Punk with the amazing promo.
All right. Will Gunther lose on Saturday?
Oh, that's true. We got Saturday night.
Saturday night main event. Gunther, will he lose?
You're making us pick? Damn. Memo.
Thanks, Memo. We'll go over the matches that I can remember right now.
I remember them. I remember. So you got the Cody signing with Kevin Owens.
I think Cody and KO will both win that match.
I see them like duking it out again.
Now with Shawn Michaels there.
Shawn Michaels is gonna be a guest one, right? Yeah. We got you, Steven. Hold on.
Yeah, we'll get like that.
Gunther versus Jay. We got Bronson Reed. No. It's Strowman.
Strowman taking on Jacob Fatu.
That's a good match, bro.
Yes, I agree. I like brother BXL, buddy. My favorite guy. Stick with wrestling.
Wait, he says brother. That's one of the things that Hulk Hogan says all the time, brother. So we got that one. Isn't Rhea Ripley fighting too? I think Rhea Ripley's.
Yes, they are now. Nia Jax
against Nia Jax. So those are the
matches. Are you thinking yet? Come on, Jay or Gunther? How is it?
Gunther. I think Gunther needs to win more than Jay, to be honest with you.
What's funny is I think you're right, man. But I also think Jay needs to win a big match, a big singles match soon. Like, he can't keep losing the IC title. Like, he had the IC title for, a week and a half? 2 weeks? Then he gets in here and he takes on and he loses to Gunther. Man, but I think you're right, man. I think Gunther has to win this.
I think Gunther has kind of like he's kind of like
Well, he doesn't feel that.
fallen a little bit.
He's not. His whole storyline is he's about wrestling. He's not about the entertainment side of the sports entertainment. He's about the wrestling. So, yeah, I'll go with Gunther. Finn's post. Yes, I will do a post show after Saturday night main event. Frankie's way too busy for Saturday shows.
I can't, guys. I got a DJ on Saturday.
But I'll come if you want to.
At what time does it end?
Sammy, me and you will go live after Saturday night's main event. I believe it ends at 10.
Okay, maybe I could
8 to 10.
6:30 to 9. I might be able to come.
We'll have 3 of us on the show. It'll be me, you, and Sammy.
Because I finished DJing at 9:30, so I'll probably be DJing and watching it, and then I'll do it. As for the other matches, Jacob Fatu is gonna win, and I feel Rhea Ripley's gonna win. Guys, remind me if there's another match. I have the feeling there's one more.
There's one more, and I can't think of who it is though.
Damn it! Who else is fighting there?
You have the signing, and I believe there's 4 matches in the signing.
On Sunday, I go to church on Sunday. Saturday is Saturday night main event. Who the hell is fighting on Saturday? I'm thinking, is it LA Knight? Was LA Knight fighting? No, I don't think it's LA Knight.
No, he's fighting on SmackDown against Tama Tonga.
Yeah, Nia Jax versus Rhea. We got that one. We got Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu. We got Cody and Kevin the signing with Shawn Michaels. We got Gunther versus Jey Uso. Who else are we missing? We're missing one more. I think I have.
Braun Breaker Sheamus added last night.
Oh, Braun Breaker Sheamus. Oh, Braun Breaker's winning. Well, I actually
the only IC title is the only one Sheamus has not held.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, brother. Thanks, brother. Yeah, that's the one that Sean just mentioned. That's a tough one, man. No, man. Braun Breaker, bro. But that IC title keeps changing. Like he never keeps it that long. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do a rematch. I'm gonna go Sheamus with it, bro. Screw it. Sheamus wins.
Sheamus wins the Saturday night main event, and they run it back at Royal Rumble, and
and then Braun Breaker.
Royal Rumble's where? Indianapolis, right?
Yes, sir. The home of Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna go Braun Breaker winning this one. You know what? Also, this brings me something because you said Pat McAfee made me think about it. The Corey Graves situation.
I read something
about this.
Yeah, I read something about him.
He went all out about. I honestly think it's a storyline. I don't know because he has been cleared to wrestle, and I believe they're aiming for him and McAfee for a match at some point. That's my own opinion. He's under contract for 2 more years.
Interesting.
And it just seems odd that all of a sudden he was, you know, he had all these concussions. They turned him into an announcer. He's done a great job at that. And then
Now, are you guys would be sold on that match? Corey Graves versus McAfee?
No, but I think it'd be a good one-off, man. A good, you know, like, you know, they go back and forth a couple of weeks where Corey Graves comes, because Corey Graves said he was told he's not known big enough mainstream. So that's why he's not on Raw, on Netflix on Raw, because he's not big enough name mainstream. So to me, that makes it feel like he's picking Pat at that point.
Well, they didn't even have him yesterday. They had Wade Barrett.
The person that removed him really was Joe Tessitore. Joe Tessitore went to SmackDown to took over that spot. And then you're right. But I think that plays into...
Oh, so they should have Joe Tessitore versus Corey Graves.
Oh, my God. With Pat McAfee as a special referee. Michael Cole, special referee. Wade Barrett will interfere. We get the whole damn crew involved.
Josh is saying we need to stop making Fatu powerful, or WWE needs to. That's his character. Josh, what's wrong with you today? You're drinking like something wrong today. I don't know.
What you want John Cena to win the title, but you want Jacob Fatu to not have enough power?
It makes no sense.
But Sheamus didn't IC champion like from the past. I feel like he will be the next. Yeah. No, I think ultimately he'll get it. I just don't think he gets it tomorrow night.
You mean Saturday?
Saturday night, yeah. Sorry. What's tomorrow night?
Wednesday? Tomorrow?
Oh, is he on Dynamite? They put him on Dynamite now? Put him on Dynamite. Sorry. Yeah, Yeah, but I'm hoping, man, for me, I hope this is part of an angle and not Corey Graves upset because I feel like Corey Graves deserves, because I don't think he deserved to be replaced by Joe Testore. I thought that SmackDown crew was fine.
Oh, that's a good topic right there. How do you feel about the New Day?
New Day sucks.
I like the heel New Day, bro.
Oh, I love him. I love it. I love it. And the
I'm
Kofi new look, like the fact that he went all, like he changed everything. The way his hair is, he shaved off his, he went like, dude, you got to get into those characters, man. You've got to get in those characters. But again, New Day, I love the part that it's New Day sucks now, that it went back to what it was originally. Because if you remember, when the three of them first came in, they were the evangelical group. They had the choir behind them, singing New Day and all this stuff, and everybody hated them because they were mightier than everybody else, and they would, the Big E be like, oh yeah, and he'd do all that stuff. Dude, the greatest thing, man. Hey, listen, Kofi lost his accent back in like forever ago, man.
He did.
Yeah, just like Shawn Michaels lost his smile, Ethan Page lost his smile, Kofi lost his accent.
Yeah.
So, all right, time to move on to Frankie Fresco's favorite part of the show.
Because you kicked me out for a minute.
Yes, I do. It is the spin the wheel. Are you ready? Here we go. I think I hit this button right here. There we go. Chappelle Show featuring Vince. This is all you, Frankie Fresco. You got it.
Out of all of them, that one is the one that comes out?
No, man.
Can we spin it again?
Nope.
All right. So I'll tell you.
Show featuring Vince.
All right. So what happened was reports say that there was a Chappelle Show stand-up comedy, and there was Triple H. There was, I believe, Shawn Michaels was there. There were a couple of wrestlers out there, and one of the guys who attended it was Vince McMahon. So after Vince McMahon and all of them saw the show, they went ahead and they went backstage to go talk to Dave Chappelle. And instead of Vince McMahon, respecting Dave Chappelle and telling him, hey, man, good show and all that stuff, in Vince manner, he started giving him advice on how to improve his stand-up comedy. Like, if Vince McMahon was a stand-up comedian, what is this crap? Like, what are you doing, Vince? Like, it just shows his, like, how do you call it? Like, his ego is so big that he would even go that far. Like, if I was Dave Chappelle, how would you react if I'm Dave Chappelle? Like, I would have been like, who the hell is this guy telling me how to do my stand-up comedy? You have no idea.
It's Vince, right?
Yeah. It's Vince.
I'm better than you, and I know it. That's the way Vince does, right? I mean,
it just makes no sense. Why would you do that? Like, it's just, again, typical Vince McMahon. So, the good thing is that this topic is very quick. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's what happened on that particular topic with Vince.
I don't know. Did you hear Frankie? All right, here we go.
Oh, this is a new one. I didn't know this one.
I put this one on there.
Okay.
You didn't send me enough.
Oh, okay.
So this is the idea behind this is the worst pay-per-view idea, like match idea or whatever from your time watching wrestling.
So the worst pay-per-view I've ever seen, or like just
pay-per-view idea?
I don't know. You go first. That way I could get an idea.
Well, I got a couple.
Okay.
The first one is it was back in the day. It was a lethal lottery. Well, actually, no, this one was they set up 3 rings. It was called Battle Bowl, I believe is what they called it.
Okay.
3 rings, 20 men, 60 men. Okay. But you had like everybody they used guys from Mexico. This is WCW back in the day, by the way. From Mexico, and then the winner of each battle royal then went on for a match.
Okay.
But here's the thing of it that I couldn't stand. The way they set up the rings, they had the 3 rings. You could get thrown from one ring to the other. So this match took forever. Because I honestly believe the guys took over and was like, you know what? This is so dumb. We're just going to keep throwing guys back and forth into the ring, never throwing people out. And then ultimately they threw them out and they got to the finals. But it took forever for a battle royal. Bad idea.
And how many people was it?
There were 60 total. 20 had started in each ring. Jeez. Then it felt like they threw 19 of them into one ring. So one guy was standing by himself, and then 19 got thrown into the other ring. So then they're backfilled together. It just kept going on. It was one of the just dumbest ideas ever to me. Okay. The other idea that was dumb was, what was it? And somebody can help me out. The match when David Arquette.
Oh, I remember that one.
The cage on top of a cage on top. It looked like the whole thing was going to fall apart. And then Diamond Dallas Page was helping them and all that. And that to me, well, the worst idea ever to me was to have David Arquette win the title. But the second idea was for him to keep the title by winning that match. Those are some of my dumb ideas. Both of them came from WCW, by the way.
Well, I'm going to follow in your footsteps because I'm trying to remember like something that stood out back in the day.
Yeah, it was a Triple Cage of Horrors. I think it was Triple Cage of Horrors is what it was called.
And I think one of the worst ideas that I could remember back in the day was none other than...
Hold on a minute real quick. Sorry. Josh, they took the idea from the movie. Jimmy King Rules, yes. But they ran it in WCW the same way. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think the worst idea that I could think of, and it comes from WCW, was I remember a pay-per-view that had it was very confusing, and they were selling it because they were in this whole, I guess, storyline, and it was NWO Sold Out. That was such a trash pay-per-view that I could remember. If I'm not mistaken, the referees had the NW shirts too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you're right, they did.
It was just a really, really, really bad show, and I think they were trying to spin it off because obviously NWO was like, I guess was it by? I think it was by the time when NWO was at its peak, or maybe when it was starting to fall off. Yes. But it was just such a bad pay-per-view. It had no correlation with WCW. Like if they wanted literally to do it completely separated from WCW. And I remember I tuned into it and it was just like a train wreck of a pay-per-view. It was just really, really bad. I even stopped watching it. I think Hogan fought against the Big Show. Was it the Big Show he fought that? I think it was in that pay-per-view. I don't remember, but I know it was just really, really bad. It was not a really good pay-per-view, and it epically failed. The numbers were crap.
Well, and then it really failed because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, hold on, I'm trying to look something up. I apologize. I believe the NWO Sold Out was the pay-per-view that, I don't know if it was the first one or the second one. They did one in 97 and one in 98.
I didn't even know they did two. I remember I thought they only did one. Look at that.
97 was Hollywood Hogan against the Giant.
There you go. Yeah, it was
one of them was Eric Bischoff challenged Vince McMahon to show up. I believe that was the second one.
So look, I pulled it up. Here. For 97, the card was Chris Jericho versus Masahiro Chono. They had a Mexican death match, Big Bubba Rogers versus Hugh Morris with Jimmy Hart. They had a singles match between Jeff Jarrett and Michael Wall Street. Who the hell's Michael Wall Street? I don't even remember that
That's
guy.
IRS. That is Bray Wyatt's
name. Oh, that was his name. Oh, okay. I remember him as IRS in WWE. I didn't like him in WWE.
IRS, so he became Michael Wall Street.
Terrible name. Anyways, singles match, Buff Bagwell versus Scotty Riggs. Oh, you remember Scotty Riggs? Man, whatever happened to him? They had Diamond Dallas Page versus Scott Norton. They had the Outsiders versus the Steiner Brothers. They had Eddie Guerrero versus Six in a ladder match. And then they had Hollywood Hogan versus the Giant. That was the and the commentary was Eric Bischoff and Ted DiBiase.
All right, well, here was 98's great card. Moving to Guerrero, Super Calo, Liz Mark Jr. versus Chavo Guerrero, defeated Laparco, Psychosis, Silver King, and El Dandy. Chris Benoit defeated Raven.
Don't say that name.
Jericho defeated Mysterio. Booker T defeated Rick Martel. Larry Zbyszko with Dusty Rhodes defeated Scott Hall with Louis Spicolli.
Larry Zbyszko.
Yep. Ray Traylor and the Steiner Brothers, which is Big Bubba or the Big Boss Man, as you know him in WWE.
Okay.
And the Steiner Brothers with Ted DiBiase defeated the NWO, Buff Bagwell, Conan, Scott Norton with Vincent. Kevin Nash with Hollywood Hogan and Eric Bischoff defeated the Giant. Bret Hart defeated Ric Flair by submission. And Lex Luger beat Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth by submission.
You would assume that with such names that those pay-per-views would be like powerhouse pay-per-views, and they were ass.
Because they were ass because the way they were led into them.
Yeah.
You have to remember, everything on WCW TV was NWO already. And then you're going to try to have it NWO only. Hell, I believe at that time, too, they had gone to where the NWO took over for like the final hour of Nitro. You know, or the first hour, whatever it was. Like, they had an hour dedicated to just NWO. Yeah. And then, let's see, guys, I think I remember the match until I watched the match 92 when I was 1 year old. Jesus Christ. WCW New Japan Super Show was a great match. It was great, but that match between oh, yeah. Oh, actually, I think anything Elegante was not good.
Sir, when you have a name by the name of Elegante, it's pretty legit. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Elegante, yep. He was, he came out in a thing. It was a body. I wish I knew how to share the screen because I wanted to show the triple cage. And then also Elegante used to come on this skin tight, muscle drawn.
I like that skin type, actually. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, okay. Let's go to the next thing. Keep sending in your ideas if you got them. One more, the final spin of the wheel. Oops, hold on a minute. There we go. It's going to do Chappelle again. Damn it.
Got it. We could talk about it again.
We could talk about it. 100%. Joe Hendry versus John Cena. Will it happen? Do you want it to happen?
All right, so very simple. Do I want to see it? Yes. Who do I want to win? Joe Hendry. And will it happen? I don't think so.
So here's my saying. I think it could happen. And that could be John Cena's 17th heavyweight championship win.
Would it count, though, even though he's in TNA?
I don't know how that works. Because now they just say heavyweight title wins. They don't say like WWE title wins.
Wait, now hold on a second. Now, brother says something there.
Well,
Joe Hendry versus John Cena at WrestleMania. Would you guys want to see that?
No.
No?
No. Because here's my problem with that, and this I'll say. To me, WrestleMania should be WWE moments. If Joe Hendry signs with WWE and you do it that way, okay. But to have a TNA champion defend on a WrestleMania card, I don't buy it.
Okay, so now if you say that you want to see Cena versus Hendry, would it be on a pay-per-view of TNA or a pay-per-view
I think so.
of WWE?
Yeah, why not? Why not give TNA the rub?
Because it's not WWE.
Yeah, but you're putting all the eyes on them anyways. If you send Cena over there to do it, you might as well do it for them.
That's not a bad idea.
Remember, Cena said, I want to do things I've never done this year. He's never wrestled for another company.
Damn, people are saying main event, put it on Raw. Damn, that's how
if
you guys feel about
Netflix. I could do a Raw on Netflix, but I think it would be more for TNA if John Cena showed up to their programming.
You know, you guys really think really low of John Cena if you just want to see him in a main event or on a Raw. Just saying. Has nothing to do with Joe Hendry. I'm just telling you right now. I'm just saying. I like it. I would like to see who the fans would side with. Would they side with Joe Henry? I would side with Joe Henry. I believe in Joe Henry, sir. So I would side all day. Screw John Cena, bro. The only way I would go for John Cena is if he brings that thugonomics back. Then I'll root for John Cena.
Memo's not happy with you.
Because Memo's a John Cena lover, bro. Like he has.
Corey Graves is live at NXT tonight. I haven't been watching it. Okay, cool.
I'm gonna catch the replay.
I wonder maybe if they start the angle tonight. I'm hoping they do an angle. Sammy, if you can let me know if they just say they're doing anything or if he's just being normal. Just let me know. I'm gonna watch it again. I gotta do the recap. There will be no Raw recap this week, by the way. So you got my Raw recap here tonight. He cannot fight just a couple times this year, and people buy that he can be a champ. It's John Cena, man. It's pro wrestling. Plus, Busted on podcast until interviews Joe Hendry when they say the question. Joe Hendry say Joe. Yeah. No. I mean, I know he wants to fight him, and I'm not saying that it does. I feel because John Cena's also said he wants to do things this year that he's never done. I mean, so why not wrestle for another promotion
and lose to another fighter from another promotion?
You know what I would love?
He's never done that. Lose to another champion from another promotion.
I would love John Cena and him to be like the promo, and somewhere in the promo, John Cena never mentions his name, and Joe Hendry goes to talk, and he says, "I didn't mention your name, so you can't appear." And then Joe Hendry be like, "Well, I can't see you." Just go back and forth with stupid stuff like that. They could do it, both of them.
It's funny because you know what they could do too is like they're interviewing John Cena in the back, and then there's like a TV, like you know how they have the WWE logo on the TV, and then all of a sudden, he goes and he's like, I just, I heard somebody by the name of Joe Henry, and then he shows up in the back of the TV or something like that, but he doesn't say anything. He just shows up, and then maybe John Cena doesn't realize it, and they just snip it.
What I think they should do is have him show up with the back of his head to him. You know what I'm saying? And then do the turnaround thing. And then Cena thinks it's like, oh, this is cute, this guy here. And then he talks to Cena like it's a live feed.
That would be good. That's funny. Yeah, you could carry it on. I like it. And they both have really good fan bases. Like
and Joe Hendry, they even asked him. They said, do you think you could go, word for word with John Cena on the mic? And he said yes. And he says, and what way to test it than to actually do it? And I don't think, everything that I've seen from Joe Hendry, I don't believe that he could not go with John Cena. I think he could handle his own with John Cena.
Josh, I am not a cup of hater. I just don't like John Cena as the you can't see me Cena. I like him as the thugonomics John Cena. That's the one I liked him. I like him as a heel, but he already did that. So if he says that he wants to do something different, what better way to do something different than go to TNA and lose to a TNA champion? Now, if he goes there as a thugonomics, then I don't want him to beat Joe Hendry. But I still believe in Joe Hendry, though.
Yeah. And brother BXL, to answer your question, I think Cena's okay with that. I think he's okay with, especially like somebody that WWE, look how much TV time WWE has given Joe Hendry already. And to be like, hey, this is a guy that could be, and what better way to test to see how Joe Hendry is than to put him in the ring with John Cena.
And not only that, it might happen the same thing with Jordan Grace. Once his contract is up, goodbye Joe Hendry. He's outgrown TNA and he moves his way over to WWE.
Yeah, because to be honest, there's nothing else for him to do there.
No.
There's not, and the thing with TNA and this, and I don't mean this, TNA understands their lane, I guess is what I'm going to say. They understand what they are and what they can do. And again, they've got some names. You got the Hardys. You got Mood. You got great talent there. Don't get me wrong. But they are owned by the media company that the channel that they're on. It's like TNT owning AEW or NBC Universal owning WWE. They have that TV time because Anthem owns that channel. Anthem owns that whole thing. So they're, they understand where they're at, and they're getting good publicity with the deal with WWE.
My only issue is that TNA seems like a conformist where they're just comfortable where they're at and they don't want to eventually maybe move up to being the second biggest wrestling organization outside of the WWE.
Well, I think ultimately it could grow into that.
Not if you're losing all your if you start losing your stars over to the WWE world.
Yeah, but think about it this way. What's to say? Okay, and again, this is the cynical side of me, and thinking the pro wrestling business behind the scenes. What do you think if TKO said, "Hey, look, this is what we're going to do. We're buying TNA. You're keeping TNA. We're buying it. We're going to make this announcement that we're just switching out talent. But ultimately, all we're going to do is build you up with our talent and our names coming over to elevate you up that list."
Yeah, you can do that. But again, WWE wins.
But WWE's always going to win, bro. Like, I don't understand.
I know, but
like, TNA's
as a businessman, and you have your wrestling, I understand why they did the contract too, because they want their brand to be more exposed.
Well, there's another thing. Let me go off another one, because you have another thing there called NXT, or not NXT, WWE. It was on this wheel. What is it? Evolve.
Yes.
Evolve. You know what Evolve is, right?
Yeah, isn't it the spinoff of what it used to be called Level Up?
Well, Evolve used to be a federation that WWE would send the people they were interested in to wrestle,
okay,
so that they could bring them up to NXT. Now they've signed all these talents to the what is it, the NIL or whatever the hell, the people, their ID, no, WWID program, right?
Oh, that's how they call it, WWID.
Yeah, WWID. That's the independent wrestlers that already have WWE contracts.
Yes.
Or, well, independent contracts that still wrestle on the thing.
They must be getting like crap money.
That's what the Evolve is going to be. It's going to be that talent that they're going to showcase.
Yes.
Now you start seeing them there. Then when they get to NXT, they already have a little bit of a following.
Correct.
And then now, so it's just another step.
Yes.
So what would mean if you took the ID and put that with the TNA?
But again, you're undermining TNA. Like if I'm the businessman of TNA,
I forgot about what I said at the beginning. They purchased TNA.
Yeah.
They say, Anthem, your guys are going to run it, and we're going to announce an agreement that we're going to switch stars.
Here's the issue with that, man.
Anthem has no issues, because they're going to make money off the TV deal, because it's their channel that they're running on, and they don't have to pay anybody anymore.
For Anthem, it makes sense, but for like the people working there, it might hurt them, because when the company buys out another company, they usually tend to get rid of a lot of people. So a lot of people lose their jobs, because then they bring their own people to run their show.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're already there. The Hardys.
Hardys, they retire, bro.
The Fraxium is there. Like, I mean, dude, there's a lot of good talent. Half the talent there was WWE talent. Brian Myers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you look at it, if you look at half that talent that's there is from WWE or NXT.
There is some wrestlers that need to kind of retire. Like Rhino. I don't know why Rhino's still there. He needs to retire. That's just me. I like Rhino, but not anymore.
Saying it again, not saying anything else, but it would make sense from a standpoint to be like, this is the first start. And again, doesn't have to be mentions of anybody bought anybody. We're just working in on agreements.
And you're right, they do.
You'll send you our talent.
They do have a lot of.
The only thing, though, that I do have a question, and this is the only thing I don't know because I'm not smart enough for this. WWE TKO is a publicly traded company. If they were to make that purchase, would it have to be publicly announced?
Yeah.
That would be the only thing. I don't know how you can make sure that doesn't, how you can work it out terminology or whatever to where you buy them, but you don't buy them. You just, what I'm saying? Like, that would be my only.
If it's privately owned,
You don't have to say anything.
if it's privately owned, then you don't have to mention it, but eventually it's gonna go out.
Yeah, because shareholders need to know.
Yes, but if it's public, then you do have to announce it.
Yeah, but if you do it some kind of terminology, and these lawyers make tons and tons of money to where it's, you're purchasing, but you're not purchasing. I don't know what the hell that would be called, but they're pretty much running the show for Anthem using all of everybody's talent.
Yeah,
because my understanding too is CM Punk was backstage at TNA Genesis.
Was it in Chicago?
There was NXT. No, there was in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, it was in Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, there were NXT, people involved in the stuff. I mean, Cora Jade came out, Fraxium came out. The night started with Ashanti the Adonis coming out and interrupting the pre-show. So there was a lot of involvement when it went that way. All right, time to get to TNA. We got about 6 minutes left in the show.
You mean the AEW?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the other number 2 company. Time to get to another AEW. We got about 6 minutes left of the show. I think that'll give us enough time to breeze through. No, I'm just kidding. So tonight's going to be an overtime show, guys.
Just a little bit.
All right, so here we go.
That wheel took too much time.
That wheel took a lot of time, man. Took a lot of time.
And you added the NXT.
Yeah, right. Just blame it on me. Blame it on me, like it's my show or something. Jeez, it's our show, man. You bought in. You started it talking about Hogan and all that stuff.
I'm a big.
All right. The story that Frankie Fresco broke to me on the Big O show this morning. Britt Baker. Apparently, everything is not tidy in the land of AEW with the dentist.
Well, first and foremost, she broke up with Adam Cole. Did you see that?
That when you said what you said today, and I heard that, I was like, things are starting to kind of make sense here. For me, there was a telltale sign to when she took on Mercedes Moné. There was times in that match where I was like, this is very choppy at best. It just felt like neither one wanted to
work with each other.
Work with the other. And I was like, really? This is like not that Britt Baker hasn't done a lot for AEW, but she's done a lot for AEW. Mercedes Moné has been around, she's made her, and the fact that I saw that, I was like, oh, and then the Serena Deeb stuff, and then she's just off TV. And then like, I saved this thing, and I hope I didn't damn close out of this thing.
Can I say something while you look for it?
No, go ahead.
A lot of people are criticizing Britt Baker because remember, there was a point in time where Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa had a feud. And she threw Thunder Rosa under the bus by saying nobody wanted to work with her. Thunder Rosa sucked. Thunder Rosa always wants her way and all this stuff. What ended up happening, which is kind of crazy, was that Thunder Rosa actually went, apologized, said, that's not my intentions. I just want to wrestle. I just want to be part of the team. And she's kind of turned it around for her end. And now all of a sudden you're seeing the Britt Baker side where she's actually the one who's actually manipulating a lot of stuff, because that's one of the reasons why. That's one of the things that's happening right now. That's why Tony Khan and AEW probably want to move on from her, is the fact that she wants to call the shots. She wants to say, hey, look, I don't want to lose to this girl, or I don't want to do a wrestle with that girl, whatever. And that's not how it works.
Oh, it's not how it works, but in TNA, Jesus Christ, look at me. In AEW, you allow them to have creative control until you don't want them to have creative control. You cannot let the nuts run the asylum. And for so many years, I was on the side of, why does Vince not allow them to have creative control? But then when you sit there and you watch how things. Oh my God, the live broadcast is going to end. I guess apparently we only get 2 hours.
Yeah, we're gonna have to we're gonna
We're going to have to come back. AEW will start next. I don't know if it ended. Are we still live? Because it still shows live here. Are we still live?
Why does this always happen when I'm back on the show?
What happened here? I just got a countdown. 10 seconds, you're going off the air.
Wait, hold
No
on.
doubt says we're still live. Apparently, oh, you know what it might be? It might have been on X or Facebook. X or Facebook or one of those. Probably we are off the air. On YouTube, we are still live. Okay. All right. So let's go back. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Can you refresh X? Or we're done in X?
I think we're done on X.
Oh, that sucks.
No, actually, I think it might be Twitch. Because I'm still showing a good viewership here. So,
I still see it. No, we're still live on X.
Right,
Okay,
we're
cool.
rolling. Let's just go. Let's try to get through this as much.
All right. So did you find what you were gonna say about Britt Baker?
I did, but are you done with your topic? On that?
Yeah. No. I told you that. Yeah. Like, I just wanted to say how crazy it is that all of a sudden she was talking all this crap, and now look, she's the one who actually is causing the issues. So maybe it wasn't Thunder Rosa, or maybe Thunder Rosa learned her lesson and she became a team player, and now Britt Baker is in the point where she's actually, her ego has gotten, and granted, I could tell you this, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Britt Baker got offended because you brought Mercedes Moné, you went ahead and you've pushed Willow Nightingale, you've gone ahead and pushed Tony Storm. You've had a lot of girls get over her. Like literally, like remember at one point in time, Tony Storm was with Britt Baker, if I'm not mistaken, or at least they were friends or something. I don't remember.
Jamie Hayter and DMD.
Yeah, exactly. Jamie Hayter's another one. So there's a lot of girls that have gone over her. So maybe I mean I could understand why maybe she's a little bit pissed off, because a lot of girls have kind of surpassed her, and she's one of the founding people of AEW. And before I turn over the topic to you, another AEW original probably leaving AEW.
Yes, but here's my thing. I think she got a little too drunk on what she thought she was. Is she a good performer? Yes. You had a chance to prove what you could do with Mercedes Moné, and you threw it in the garbage because you didn't want to play ball. For whatever reason, you still have to be professional. You still have to go out there and do your job.
Do it.
Whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's where, to me, like none of this, and I think a lot of this she wore thin, and then now she's no longer, Mrs. Adam Cole.
Oh.
So, yeah, you're not as much as what, we don't need to keep you happy anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is from Brian Alvarez, who took to social media this says, to strike down the stories of Baker's demise seem to have been blown out of all proportion, okay? He's saying we're blowing it out of proportion, okay? But I want you to, again, listen to the words of this statement and tell me if you think it's being blown out of proportion. He said, from talking to multiple people within AEW, the Britt Baker stories all over the internet appear to be blown way out of proportion. She's not being used, and there don't appear to be any imminent plans. But there's nothing to her being finished with the company. Obviously, Britt Baker is polarizing. Some people don't like Britt. The idea that nobody in the locker room likes Britt is not true. I have talked to a lot of people today. At the end of the day, she's not being used right now. Most people don't know why. And ultimately, it's Tony's decision if she's going to be used or not. Nobody I talked to, and it's a lot of people that I talked to, Tony, nobody said she's not coming back. It's not like she's never going to be used again. Her contract goes for quite a while. It's just she's not being used right now, and that's where the story is. Now, to add on to that, another outlet is reporting nobody's contacting Britt Baker anymore from AEW. Does that sound familiar to a lot of people that have been let go? You don't hear from them all of a sudden. You don't hear from them. You don't hear from them. But again, here's where Britt Baker's different. She doesn't need AEW. She doesn't need WWE. She is a licensed dentistry and has her own practice. I believe in Orlando still. She doesn't need this.
Wait, she has a practice in Orlando?
I believe it's in Orlando. That's where they were staying, right? Orlando, Tampa? Where was it?
I'm gonna have to go make her
Adam
new
Cole,
dentist.
I believe it was where they were staying. I believe it was that. I believe Tampa or Orlando.
I gotta get a cleaning from her.
So she doesn't necessarily need, the AEW thing or anything. It's just, hey, it's great. That's why she didn't go to WWE before, because she would have to have given up the practice.
Yeah.
She was able to do the practice and do AEW. If they release her, I don't think she goes WWE. She just stays on the independents and makes appearance fees. But at the same time, the part that might take away a lot of stuff is the unprofessionalism that she displays, the politicking, all of that's kind of coming out of all of this. Is that somebody you want to, sign?
But hold on a second. Let me ask you this. Let me play devil's advocate. Could her politicking, could her attitude, could all that have changed because of the way AEW was treating her? Because this is not the first wrestler from AEW.
You're a wrestler getting paid. Again, this is where I feel like AEW has set up themselves for this. If you're not doing your job, somebody else is going to replace you, man. If you're not keeping up with the Joneses are going to go over you. You don't want to play ball. You want to politic in the back that you want all the good matches. Well, when people come and they say, Willow's getting a better reaction out there right now from crowds that are not in Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? Like that you've got to listen to what the people got hurt. Britt disappeared for a while. I mean, what? She comes in, you get the DMD. What do you get during her matches?
DMD? DMD?
Okay, that's all you get, DMD. Willow and them have people chanting, holy shit, and this and that because of the moves they do.
Yeah, but Sean, again, I could understand that if it was just her case. But there's a lot of people out there in the AEW world that just get pushed to the side. Now, I'm not saying maybe she does have a good maybe her way she came across hasn't been the right way, but it's a very common thing in the AEW world. Ricky Stark, where the hell's he?
He made it clear what his issue is.
Ray Phoenix, Penta, they were just disappeared.
But again, all those guys made clear they were leaving when their contracts were up.
I understand that, but when they're leaving or when their contract is coming up, AEW, I feel like AEW never put the effort to try to keep these guys.
But they're not the first ones to do that. See, this is the thing. People forget, and it was brought up the other day by, I can't remember who was on X. Look, anytime contracts were coming up, there's a reason. Look, just because AEW didn't put a 90-day clause into their deals because they wanted to be different from the business, there's a reason WWE says 90-day clause. You can't wrestle for 90 days for anybody or be seen on any TV for 90 days when our contract ends. Why? Because most people will forget about the average Joe. Nowadays, though, with social media, you can keep yourself relevant because you can post stuff and things like that. But there's a reason there was a 90-day clause, because why am I going to build you up on my TV, even if you're getting beat, but people are seeing you every week in and week out, and then just let you show up on the opponents? They did that twice. Once with Lex Luger, and once with Rick Rude. Because Vince McMahon had handshake agreements, and he got, both times it was, okay, no, my contract's up. Okay, show up tomorrow. Pay-per-view. Okay, show up tomorrow on Nitro. Rick Rude showed up on both programs the same night, on Nitro and Raw.
Yeah.
Because they recorded the Raw, or they recorded that Raw before he left, And then his contract expired the Saturday. So on Monday night, the live Nitro, he appeared live.
But again, Tony Khan has preached that AEW is different. It's all about the wrestling. It's all about
you want, buddy. When it gets in the thick of the woods, the true colors come out.
yeah, man. But like, if you want to compete with WWE, because Tony Khan wants to compete with WWE, he wants to make AEW better. You're letting all your homegrown talent leave. They're all leaving, and it's not.
But let me ask you this: with the homegrown talent, and man, see, this is gonna sound so terrible, and coming from a guy like nobody like me, but and I used to say this with Vince and WWE. If you can make money with them, you're not going to let them leave. You let the guys leave that you don't think that you can make money with.
But come on, man. Come on. Jay Cargo, you don't think you can make money with Jay Cargo. You don't think you can make money with Penta. You don't think you can make money with Cody Rhodes? Nah, man. That's just him being a dumbass.
Yes. No, not dumbass. They got tired of what they saw, and they got a better offer.
Well, Jay Cargo got, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Cargo got more money. She got more money from AEW.
Yes, she got less money
from WWE. Yeah, she left.
But the opportunities WWE presented to her were more than what AEW presented. To WWE, there's more than just, hey, I wrestle every Wednesday and Saturday.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And again, I don't know what Tony Khan's network is, but if he's smart, he needs to start getting other opportunities for some of these guys and gals.
Well,
Then you become more than just a contract deal. It's like, oh, I can be on TV. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I'm doing media rounds all day on network shows. You know what I'm saying? Like, that gets your brand out there, because that's what talks to the wrestlers more than anything, is their brand now.
But again, like, look, man, I look at it as a businessman, and I'm seeing a lot of wrestlers that they have, and one thing I don't like about Tony Khan is, like, once he's pissed at them, he like holds them back. Look what he's doing with Ray Phoenix. I hate that crap. Yeah, obviously he's having issue with Britt Breaker, and now he's like, okay, well, you know what?
The thing is, though, he's doing nothing that anybody else wouldn't do, because when you say it's business, that's when it turns into business.
Yeah, but as a business person, bro,
this is the problem. This is the problem, and this is what I'll say, because you liked AEW when it originally got going and everything else. They didn't treat it like a business, and that's where they messed up.
Yeah.
They didn't treat it like a business, and now they're in their 5th, 6th year, and it is a growing business, and the problem is now you're instituting what should have been instituted at the beginning.
But you're instituting, here's the issue, and this is what you're noticing. They instituted that to the guys and gals that they're shining now, but all the old ones that never came up with that ideology, that came up with that old mentality of, hey, they're all leaving.
Well, yeah, because also remember this too. What was the big thing with AEW? Our wrestlers are not going to be paid over the abundance. It's going to be a tiered. If you've been in the business this long, you get this much. Yes. This long, this much. This long, this much. And then you'll have your, of course, you're going to have your exceptions. Chris Jericho, and I'm sure the EVPs or whatever, because the EVPs were probably making the tier amount, and then they got extra money for being an EVP, which is probably how they worked out those deals. And the same thing with Jericho. Jericho's probably on a tier, but then they signed him to like a company deal to give him more money. I'm guessing. I don't know how it all worked out, but they had these tiers. Okay. And what I think ended up happening is WWE let a lot of people go, and AEW wanted a lot of those guys, and those guys ain't coming for tiers.
Nope.
And then the men and women that had been busting their asses to make AEW what it was to that point is like, so this is how it is?
Yeah, you just screwed me over.
Well, if you're going to screw me over, now I'm going to start screwing you over.
Yep.
And then now you're into the weeds of where you are now.
Think about it, Sean. Think about it. Ricky Stark, Sammy Guevara, Warlow, now Britt Baker. You got so many young guys. The only one that kind of has still been relevant is Danny Garcia, and he had to get a new contract. Orange Cassidy's the one that I don't know if he's got a new contract, but Orange Cassidy's one of the old ones that has been there. But everybody else, MJF was one of the old ones, but he had to get a new contract and he got paid. But it's like they did. Look, I understand Britt Baker might have not been the most humble and down to earth person, and maybe she's barking and all that stuff. But I blame this on Tony Khan, dude. Like,
No, it's got to start at the stop. It's got to start and stop at the top. Again, you wanted to start this federation, and you probably had the greatest, means of doing it the way that you wanted to do it. The problem is, as you grow, and you start saying, "Hey, you know what? We need this person. Hey, we need that person. Oh, let's get that person." And I mean, you can tell it changed from what it originally was. Hell, Cody left.
Yeah,
he was one of your EVPs. One of the reasons and there's a whatever signed or whatever agreement that they're never going to talk about what the issue is between Cody and Tony. So obviously there was a philosophical difference or shift somewhere along the line that said, and again, if you look at a lot of the people that are not on TV as much, whose side were they on?
Cody. And you want to know what's crazy too? I read on X too that there's a lot of people actually saying Kenny Omega should leave AEW. There was a lot of people saying that he needs to leave, that he has kind of the same thing that you mentioned about TNA, how sometimes they outgrow it. Yeah. They're saying that Kenny Omega has outgrown AEW and he needs to leave.
I think he has, but also I think for his body and the wear and tear. And again, I don't know what his whole situation is, but the fact that the diverticulitis took a lot of his intestines, dude, stay there, get your money, put on your great performances, get your good matches, and continue doing what you're doing in AEW. Help them grow, help them do whatever you think you need to do. You don't need to be.
But they didn't even give him a contract. Did you see that he was? There was something saying that his contract was expiring, and that they were doing like a month to month type of contract with him.
Maybe they did the same thing they did with Phoenix, where they extended his injury time. Because remember, he was out for a long time after he lost to Moxley in the blow up thing.
Yeah.
Then he came back, and then he got the diverticulitis, and he was out for he was out for a good almost 2 years of time.
Been out for a
while. They might have did that. If they did, then again, if I'm Kenny Omega, I don't do WWE. Go get paid on the indie scene, do a couple matches here and there. Don't put your body through the grind of WWE. Just for I got to believe he was getting paid decent money, and he seems pretty smart, and he has other avenues. I just don't think he needs to put his body through that.
How old is Kenny Omega? Do you know?
But he used to be in NXT a long time ago.
I wonder if he's in.
Actually, he was in, I believe he was in FCW at the time. That's how long ago it was.
I wonder if he's in his 40s already. Because if he's in his 40s,
I want to say he's in his early 40s.
Hold on, Kenny Omega.
Hold on, I'm trying to bring it up right now. 41.
He's 41. Yeah. So he's had some wear and tear on him. I mean, he could still be in his prime.
No, yeah, but see, here's the thing, though, too, is like, again, with the injuries that he suffered and all that stuff, that takes, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I wanted to see a different Kenny. Brother just had, like, a foot of his intestines removed.
Yeah.
Give the man a chance to see what his body reacts to. You do understand when you're getting slammed down, that's the area that was affected.
Well, you mentioned
it jars you. You don't know how you're gonna wake up the next day and everything else. So every time he wrestles, he's probably figuring out more and more about his body and what he can and can't do. Well, and also, not only that, you have to watch what you eat with that.
Well,
every little thing can flare it up.
Well, no doubt is actually kind of talking what you're mentioning when he says, "Hey, when Kenny's constantly grabbing his stomach, it really makes me uncomfortable." Is it an angle or is it not? I cannot tell.
But again, that's the grayness. You don't know. Do they ultimately run I honestly think, look, I believe if it's something where he would seriously, be put in danger, I would hope
he wouldn't be wrestling.
Doctors and everybody else would have said, no, we're not signing off on this.
Yeah.
I would hope. Again, I'm not saying, I would hope. So I'm hoping that a lot of this is maybe leading up to storylines. And it's an easy thing, right? A guy breaks his leg. He's got the brace. People attack the leg. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's always the thing. And especially since they're throwing shots, Kyle Fletcher, all the time to his abdomen, I got to believe he's healed enough to where he could take those shots. I'm again, I
agree.
ignorance as far as what is, full thing, but I understand. I mean, look at Brock Lesnar, right? Brock Lesnar had the diverticulitis, did the thing, tried to go back in to fight, got hit one time by, who was it? Was the one that was arrested? Damn it, the UFC fighter, for defending his daughter and killing the.
Oh, Cain Velasquez.
Yes, Velasquez hit him right in the side, and he crumbled down, and then he just pummeled him.
Yeah,
because dude, it's not, man. Like I know somebody who had it, and they had it so bad that when it flared up, they couldn't stand up straight.
Wow.
Like it literally, like it made your body like hunch over. And again, I don't know. Maybe it affects everybody differently. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I understand it being a very painful thing, and little things like seeds on the bun, sesame seeds on the bun. That's what sets it off. It gets stuck in, and it's a terrible thing, So I would hope that for everything else that it's part of him just selling and make, getting the empathy from the crowd. All right, next subject, title relevance. And this is the one, Frankie, where I just kind of wanted to discuss a little bit about, we're watching right now with AEW, and you've got right now the title is on Jon Moxley, and they're doing the Death Riders angle with it. And you had an original plan, I believe, of Orange Cassidy being the defender of AEW, and that kind of became the guy that was going after Jon Moxley in the title.
Correct.
Then Jay White wanted to be that guy, and he got thrown in there. Then Hangman Page said it's his, birthright or whatever it was to have that title. Now, Cope comes back out of nowhere, and it's his opportunity for the title. All of this while you have a ranking system. Remember, the ranking system went away, then they brought it back. They still show the wins and losses, and they do all that. But here was the part that I'm trying to get to with the title relevance. You see what they did, how they ran that angle to make Jon Moxley seem like a wanted man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you watch WWE and you watch what they're doing with the Royal Rumble, all to get a shot at main eventing WrestleMania for a heavyweight title shot.
Mm-hmm.
Which one makes you think they feel a bigger importance for the heavyweight title? And neither way, I'm not saying either one way is right, one way is wrong. What I'm asking you is, which way do you prefer? Making it a title that you fight for, or the title that's kind of, where's it going?
Obviously, the one that you fight for, than the one that's where is it going?
Which AEW did a great job up until recently. Up until Moxley won the title, I believe they were doing a great job of that, honestly. It wasn't like people weren't in the main event just because they returned. It feels WWE-ish to me, what they're doing with Cope. I'll just say that.
I don't know if Cope is going ahead and putting his 2 cents in it. Because if he is, then I could understand why they're going that route. But I also
go back to what we were just talking about with Britt Baker.
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy in that position. I get Darby's leaving, so he's going to do his own thing. I understand that. But now you've taken a backseat to Orange Cassidy, Hangman Adam Page, Jay White, for Cope and FTR to come into the main event picture.
I feel like AEW's like reaching. I feel like they are.
Or you still have Christian Cage out there too with that contract that still hasn't been cashed in.
I feel like AEW is kind of like trying to, even though they got max and their contract and all that stuff, I feel like they just go with whatever they feel like. Hey, here's who we want. Here's where we're gonna put. Because for them to just randomly put Cope, um, to become now the contender and be in the storyline, it just feels like they're just like, hey, screw it. Let's just put our two best, most talented, most recognized wrestlers that are not even from AEW, they're from WWE, and now put them against each other because people are just gonna get wild and people are gonna tune in, and I think certain fans you're gonna get approval from, and then from other fans you're gonna be like, been there, done that. I don't want to see it. Is it the right move? I don't think it is. I've always said to myself, man, look, man, I don't know why they keep putting Cope as the main guy against Moxley and try to chase that. I always said is Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is the main guy right now in AEW. That's who you should have put in for the belt. That's your main guy. And then imagine you would have put in Will Ospreay. Let's say he beats Moxley. Then you could start feeding him the other guys. Like a Moxley versus, I'm sorry, this guy, damn, I just mentioned his name. Will Ospreay versus Cope. Will Ospreay versus Darby Allin. Like building up on it. It just feels like they just, I don't know, man. They feel like it's all over the place with them. And again, I agree with you to the point that I feel Moxley did a good job with Moxley, but then after that, it was just kind of like they went in different directions. They didn't know. It's like they were on a road.
I feel like now Moxley is bigger than the AEW title. Like everybody wants to beat Moxley so bad that they don't care. The AEW title hasn't even been seen.
That's another thing.
The title hasn't been seen since Moxley won it.
That's another thing. That's hurting them.
Again, I'm not saying WWE does it 100% correct, but to me, at least they make the belt
mean more than the wrestler.
Not only that, but that's the prize. It's not just beating Roman. It's also winning the belt. It wasn't ending the streak of Roman Reigns. It was Cody finishing his story and winning the title. You know what I'm saying? KO and Cody are fighting over a title that doesn't even exist. At least one of them, the wingtip belt, doesn't even exist. Yeah. And that's in a ladder match. And to me, that right now seems to be having more relevance than the AEW title. I feel like you've put that on the title. You know, the actual title in AEW doesn't mean it to me. It's not something to be fought for. It's like, oh, okay, I'm a champion. Yay. Like, you're trying to beat Moxley because he's trying to kill everybody. That seems to be the bigger prize than winning your heavyweight title right now.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I saw an article, and it's an old one, but I saw that it said the 10, and I have it pulled up here. It's from the Sportster.com, and it was the 10 worst title reigns in AEW history. And in this, you see everything that happened. Like they had number 10, the Elite, when they had Omega and the Young Bucks, and then obviously they had the whole situation where they got suspended that one day because of the whole CM Punk situation. So they released those trios belt all the way across. You had the Rey Fenix international championship that was not planned. I think that was the one where he beat I think he beat Moxley for it, right? I think it was Moxley who he beat by accident because I think Moxley got injured.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
And then the other ones that pop here was Paige winning because they wanted her to win at her hometown, so they just gave her the title and said, "Hey, I'm Saraya, my bad, not Paige."
Yeah, I got you.
So you have all these. I mean, Scorpio Sky, like that TNT belt. How many guys have won that TNT belt? And that TNT belt means nothing. Scorpio Sky, Sammy Guevara, like Powerhouse Hobbs, Warlow. A lot of these guys have won that TNT belt, and it's like whatever. Like nobody cares. So I agree with you.
They seem like they don't make the titles be prestigious. And and sometimes I think WWE goes overboard on trying to make them prestigious. Now, again, at the end of Vince there, that Intercontinental title and those titles like that were not meant that way. And I believe when Gunther got the Intercontinental title, when Triple H kind of got back over, they started making them mean, more.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like if you make the title mean something, then a lot of this stuff doesn't matter. Because it wouldn't be, think about this. Gunther is the champion. Nobody's complaining about it. He's not the most entertaining guy. But there's not a lot of complaining about, because you look at him and you go, oh, that title means something. Jey Uso's trying to win that title. You know, there's guys going after that title, and it's the title. They're not going after necessarily Gunther. They're going after the title. The title means something. And that's where, like, to me, a lot of this stuff gets lost, because I feel like in AEW, they make the person more than the title.
And you know something?
Like Jericho winning the Ring of Honor title.
And let's not forget, why did Cody kind of screwed himself over? Because that match that he said, hey, if I lose, I don't ever get a chance to win the heavyweight title.
And that was to get MJF over.
And then but it screwed him over. It screwed him over.
Yeah.
Screwed
I don't know
Cody
who thought that was going to be a good idea, especially when he was the over face at that time.
He was.
Like he was the face of AEW, and he can't fight for the title? That made no sense to me.
No.
But then when you look at the 4 champions, think about it. Right? You had Omega and Jericho fight to the death at the very first All In. What was it? Jericho wins.
Yes.
That was when Moxley debuts. Right? Takes out Omega. Takes out Omega. So then you got Omega and them having their thing. Jericho's defending a title, building it up. Then you had Omega beat Jericho in a good story that was built up to where Omega becomes a champion. Then you have Omega and Paige teaming up during time frames to build up to the story of, no, you had Moxley. Moxley beat Paige. Paige. Moxley beats Omega.
Mm-hmm.
Omega then teams up with Paige, Hangman Page, and they become that great tag team.
Yes.
Building that story. Then, Moxley beat Jericho, or Jericho beat...
No. So Jericho was champ first, right?
Yeah,
he beat Hangman Page, and then Moxley beats Jericho to become the champion. And then after Moxley, then Omega beats Moxley.
Yes. And in that meantime, Page and Omega had built up their friendship as tag team, and then also the turn to where now when Page comes out, you had a 4-year run of making that title and building that title to when Page wins the title, it blows the roof off the place.
And funny enough, you say that. When Page wins the title, the next person to hold the title was actually CM Punk. When CM Punk came over. So the first four champions was Jericho, Moxley, Omega, and then Page. And then the next guy
Khan admitted he had that 4-year run already in the figured out. The title picture was always figured out where Hangman Page was going to be the 4th champion.
And then after that, he made the right move by putting in CM Punk as the champion because he was the biggest draw when he first came to AEW. But then after that, it's been a disaster because that's when they gave the interim title to Moxley. Then you had CM Punk. Remember when CM Punk wrote on the championship belt? And it was kind of going back and forth with Moxley and him. And then MJF took the time, then Samoa Joe, and then I believe it was Swerve after that. Then you kind of had Bryan Danielson hold it for a minute, and now you're back to Moxley.
You put it on Swerve, finally put it on Swerve, and I believe Danielson beat him like 2 months in. Like Swerve didn't have the title that long, did he?
I looked it up, and it says that he was the title reign for 126 days.
So 4 or 5, 6 months. Okay, no, that's it's better than what I thought it was. I thought it was like 3 months because I remember Danielson beat him, and I was like, man, that quickly because I thought Swerve could be the champion for a while. Honestly, with the way they built him up and him winning the title, I felt like he could go for a while. And then that's right, because Danielson beats him, and then the next week, the next pay-per-view, he gets beat by Page in the cage.
Who? Swerve. Yeah, Swerve.
Yeah,
yes.
in the cage, he loses, and I was like, this guy just built up in 2 months, 2 pay-per-views.
And then burn his house down.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that I'm looking online, right? And the longest reigning champion in AEW history was MJF. He had 406 days. And then the next guy to follow after him is actually Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega hold it for 346 days.
Okay.
But on this list, again, look at the common denominator, because remember when we say, hey, it's always Darby Allin's for the rescue and all that stuff. I feel like the AEW title, it looks like John Moxley's always for the rescue, because check
Yeah.
this out. You got Chris Jericho, first champion, Moxley, Omega, Adam Page, CM Punk, Moxley interim champion, Moxley heavyweight champion, Punk, Moxley again champion, MJF, Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, Bryan Danielson, Moxley again.
Yep.
So
He's the safety. He's Tony Khan's safety guy.
for the heavyweight.
If I need somebody to hold the title,
Give it to Moxley.
I know Moxley will do what we need him to do or whatever.
And I think the only reason there was a while that he did not have the belt was only because of the whole, his whole drinking situation. So he had to take some time off.
And came back. Yep.
Because I would have been surprised if he still would have been holding the title during that time.
Yeah. No, it's just something to look out for with AEW. It's just, I feel like they try to make the superstar more important than the title.
Yeah.
And I believe, again, the belt can't make the superstar, but the superstar needs to elevate the title too. Like, it can't be just like a briefcase that we think has the title in it, but we don't know. And again, I wish they would keep showing a desk and them presenting the briefcase. So at least there'd be oh, okay, it's going somewhere. Because I don't even know what the hell's going on with the Death Riders anymore. They show up, they try to put bags on people's heads, they get ran off. I mean, apparently they ran out of time last week because after it goes off the air, apparently Hobbs destroys the whole security crew.
I didn't even know that.
That people didn't even know happened.
Wow. Did they put it on social media? At least?
I don't know. I have to go check. I heard it on Observer Radio.
Wow.
They're talking about, there was a problem because if you watch when they went off the air, it's Edge bending down to check on, or one of FTR bending down and checking on Hobbs.
Yeah.
And then they, I guess they help him up and he starts, and then, because if you noticed, they were standing around the corner waiting. So I think then, it happened. Everything, because a lot of people thought Claudio wasn't supposed to do the move that he did or whatever, and everything was written in. They just ran out of time.
Damn.
So there we go. Let's talk about, and this one is just, I want to give a kudos to a career that lasted a long time. I know he caught some grief here for being the EVP from somebody, but kudos to Christopher Daniels. He finished out his in-ring career with a great match, a hardcore match with Hangman Adam Page, Texas Death Match.
Didn't he lose?
He did lose.
That's his final match, a Texas Death Match, and he gets his ass kicked by Adam Page.
But he got to go out as the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels. He wore the whole gimmick out there. He left it all in the ring. And not only did he get beat and beat down, left laying in the ring, Hangman Adam Page went in and did his finishing move, Christopher Daniels' finishing move on Christopher Daniels to end his career.
That's how you know that he's going to come back.
I don't think he is.
I mean, how can you be disrespectful?
Oh, Wilford said they put it on IG. It was cool.
Hey, thanks, Wilford. How can you?
Thank you for tuning in, sir.
How can you leave that way? How can you go ahead and just get beat down the way it was, and then on top of that, the match is over. Hangman Page beats you down even more, and then he does his finishing move on you.
Yes, because
that's how you're going to end your career.
Well, a lot of talk has been done that Hangman Adam Page is going to use that as his finishing move now.
Why? What's wrong with his buckshot finishing move?
Well, the buckshot lariat is a lot of timing and a lot of banging on your knees. So maybe he wants to go to a more easier move to just hit, when he can, instead of just keep tearing up his body. Maybe he's got a bad knee and he doesn't want to damage it anymore.
All right, so let me ask you something.
This segment was to say thank you, Christopher Daniels, and if you are coming back, I will be happy to have you back. Not Frankie Fresco, but
I don't mind him. I don't mind him being in the Texas match against Hangman Page.
I was on a card with Christopher Daniels in 2003.
Oh, so that's why. Okay, so shout out to Christopher Daniels. I personally don't have a problem with him.
Apparently, you do. Yes, you do.
I don't have a problem with him.
He shows up on TV. You're like, what the hell is this bald guy doing on my TV?
I don't have a problem with him. I don't have a problem with him wrestling. I have a problem with him being the GM because he sucks as the GM.
First off, he's not a GM. He was the interim EVP.
GM. He was the GM. He was calling matches out there.
AEW has no GM. They have EVPs.
People were worried about this guy. Did they put a neck brace on him?
Yeah, they did everything, man.
And you really think he's gonna end his career like that? No way, bro. That guy's coming back. That's BS. It was a good match though. But yeah, he's coming back.
It was a good, fun match, man. It was a good way for him to go out.
He's not going out that way. He's gonna come back and wrestle, whether it's in AEW or in another place. But you can't go out like that.
I mean, I believe that's his last AEW in-ring match.
Okay, that I could understand. If this is his last AEW in-ring match, okay, cool. But damn, I saw some of it. I'm rewatching it. And why did he bleed and not Hangman Page? Whatever. Anyways, next topic. Shout out to Christopher Daniels.
Thank you. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted at the end there. Maybe Daniels and Page are big time homies. They probably are. I know he's good with the Bucks and all that, so I'm sure he is in with them. Now, my favorite AEW segment. The miscellaneous AEW. Anything we missed? Anything you want to talk about, sir? This has been quite the extravaganza we had here today.
I don't know what else we could talk about. Like when it comes to the AEW side, it's like
I really didn't think we'd go 40 minutes on AEW. I didn't. I thought we'd be done earlier.
I really don't know what is there to talk about when it comes to AEW. I mean, I guess I don't know. I have no idea. I don't think is there anything else that we could talk about AEW?
No, the only thing I would say is the people that watched it before and thought it had fallen off, I'd say give it another chance. It has gotten better.
Okay.
Somebody, no doubt, scroll up and what happened here? Okay, no doubt says, I do not watch AEW until this year. Adam Cole was hurt. Now he is back. I don't get the draw. Why do people like this guy? Now, me being the funny guy here, I'll say because he's orange. Although I did find it funny at the World's End pay-per-view, they switched it up, and MJF wore the tan, and Adam Cole was white. Did you notice that at the World's End pay-per-view?
That what? Say that again?
On TV, Adam Cole did not wear the self-tanner. Usually he wears the self-tanner. At World's End, he did not wear the self-tanner, and he wasn't orange. He was like white. Ghost white.
I didn't know that.
Like the sun hadn't hit him in 13,000 days.
Not sure. Not sure.
And to be honest, like the problem is,
I like Wilfred.
I like Adam Cole. I love Adam Cole.
Okay.
Not everybody. It's not for everybody. He's not for everybody. And also, I think because of the injuries, a lot of people haven't been able to see what he can do.
That's where I was gonna go. I think what has jeopardized Adam Cole has been his injuries. Ever since he got injured, he's been having his draw hasn't been as big. Remember, when he first came, it was tremendous. And the whole, saga, the whole friendship with MJF did really well until they kind of dragged it off. But I think what hurt that storyline was him getting injured. So I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what has held him back.
Well, that, and also I don't think he gets presented in the perfect way every time. Like that's the problem I have with some of the stuff with AEW in a way too, is not everybody, but sometimes like when they bring people back, it's not necessarily in a great way. You know what I'm saying? Like when he I would have been better off changing the angle of the devil and putting somebody that could wrestle than making Adam Cole the devil in that instant. I get where you were heading with it, but the injuries happen. I would have changed it because then I felt like, okay, now you got this guy in a wheelchair that can't even fight MJF. And it just really threw everything off. And then the fact that he kept getting injured and re-injuring it and he couldn't come back immediately, it hindered a lot of the stuff. And then he comes back, and I thought it was cool them putting him with MJF. But then you're like, oh, well, Roderick Strong wants MJF. Kyle O'Reilly is blaming, Adam Cole for the injuries to other guys. I felt like they're too much. Like, make it about Adam Cole. Show what people need to know about Adam Cole before you throw everything else into it. Not saying that it didn't work out well, but I felt like they didn't bring him back as the baby that they needed to, and they just kind of shuffled him into let's get the Undisputed Kingdom back together.
Yeah.
It was more about getting them back together than it was presenting Adam Cole as Adam Cole Baby. And that's where I think some of that lost luster, to where if you don't watch AEW every week, then yeah, of course, you're not going to end up following and liking what Adam Cole brings.
Wilfred has been throwing some comments here.
Yeah.
He's a big AEW fan, and he's saying people have to realize AEW is 6 years old and they're doing a good job. One day they will be better. I agree. Excuse me. I agree that they've done a good job. I think it has fallen a little bit from what it was in the beginning, and I think it's to the demise of obviously Tony Khan. I feel like AEW has lost opportunities to gain fans. Perfect example: the Devil. It should never have been Adam Cole. It should have been Tony Khan. Let's just keep it real. Let's say recent.
Why are you stealing my stuff?
World's End. It should not have been Kenny Omega coming as the GM or whatever, the interim. I don't know, the EVP again. I don't know. It should have been Shane O'Mac. You have spots where they miss, and it hurts them in the long run, because imagine how big of a pop you would get. Imagine what would happen next. I think that's where they fall a little bit short. They just
also, this is part until I'm sorry to cut you off because I want to catch you right here.
Yeah.
I feel like what hurts them too is they don't want to be anybody else. If Tony Khan goes heel, it's becoming what Vince McMahon did in WWE. It's becoming what Bischoff did in WCW. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're so against like that stuff that, like, sometimes I think, look, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Little things happen. And they say the more the AEW makes mistakes, the more they will learn from it. I agree to a point, because they sometimes make the same mistake over and over and over.
Wilfred, me and Sean were just talking about it. Look how they're treating these guys. Ricky Stark, Britt Baker. I mean, people are telling Kenny Omega to leave. Those are mistakes. It's like, look, me and Sean are Miami Dolphin fans. There's one point in time you actually want the Miami Dolphins to be successful. You don't want to see the same mistake over and over and over again, because you're going to get frustrated with it. And I think that's what happens with AEW. You see the same mistakes happening over and over, and you're like, damn, dude, correct it. Like, you want to be different. Okay, cool. But if you're going to be different, you got to learn from your mistakes, then actually learn from them and do something about it. Don't just brush it off and be like, okay, you know what? This didn't work out, so let me let this person leave the show. Because do I miss Ricky Stark? Of course I do. I liked Ricky Stark. I thought what he was doing with Big Bill for a minute. Dude, there were Ricky Stark and Big Bill at one point in time were a hit. And all of a sudden Ricky Stark is out. Now Britt Baker was one of my favorites. Now she's falling off. Penta, my favorite wrestler right now in the wrestling world. And you all of a sudden you got him now in WWE. Like, come on, man. Like, get your shit together. Correct.
Yeah, but Wilford, you said I love Britt and Ricky, but no one is above the company. But I think they've shown that some people are above the company. That's the part where
they pick and choose who they want.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it is. And you're right. I mean, we're not sitting here. I watch AEW every week. I order every pay-per-view. I've watched Collision. I've watched Rampage when it was on. But also, the one thing that I said was, like, they don't keep consistent stories. Now they have lately. Since about Revolution, it has gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
The stories they had a couple weeks where they lulled, but then also you put all this effort into, and I'll ask you, Wilfred, okay? Since you're an AEW fan, and not to put you on the spot, but here it goes. Yes, more cousin beef. We love Big Bill and cousin beef. That is true, cousin beef. So when the whole Death Riders thing started, and they put the plastic bag over Bryan Danielson's head, okay? They've done all that. They did all that work up since that. Did they capitalize on that? Because I don't feel like they've capitalized on it. I feel like they've dropped the ball. Nobody's gotten better from it. Not even the Death Riders.
Not even Orange Cassidy.
No, nobody's gotten better from this whole thing. I don't understand. And again, I think the angle's good, but nothing's elevated from it. And you haven't seen the heavyweight title since Bryan Danielson wore it to the ring that night. It's been in a bag or a box or a briefcase, whatever the hell that thing is. So at some point, though, the stories have got to either branch out or come to an end. Whatever you think is the right decision. And as I said, I understand AEW is different viewing audience than what WWE is. But when you're on episodic TV, there's got to be some continuation to what you're watching if you want to have fans tune in. Yes, you'll get your diehards to tune in every week. But the Death Rider story has brought out Private Party and Leo Rush.
Really?
The Private Party is now feuding with the Hurt Syndicate. Leo Rush and them, yeah, they're attacking them, but like that, they're feeding Leo Rush and Action Andretti to boost Private Party, to feed Private Party to the Hurt Syndicate. That's pretty much where that's going. And look, I don't think AEW is the new WCW. I don't because I don't see Tony Khan making as many mistakes as what Eric Bischoff made. And when the biggest mistake Bischoff made was when he signed I forgot what the contracts are called. They're like balloon contracts. So when you sign Hall and Nash to a deal, they might be making $3 million. Then you sign Bret Hart to $5 million. Well, because you signed Bret Hart to $5 million, now you've got to boost up Scott Hall and Kevin Nash to $5 million a year. That's what killed WCW, because as a business, Turner looked at it and said, wait, we're paying these guys how much money? And they're bringing in how much money? Okay. And we're not doing that. Because you have to remember, too, WCW didn't have a TV deal because they were their TV deal. So TNT wasn't making any money. They just weren't having to pay for TV time. TNA's got a TV deal. They've got the con money. They're not going anywhere. I don't have an inkling in my mind that AEW is not going to be around for a long time. I would just like it to include and improve on things when you have Swerve Strickland. And look, I'm not saying anything's bad about it, but like Swerve, is Ricochet with the Hurt Syndicate? Is he just attacking Swerve for the hell of it? He's stabbing him in the head with scissors.
He is.
And then you book a match. And now this guy stabbed the guy in the head with scissors. And you book a match for Dynamite. Not a cage match, not a death match, not an anything goes match. And I get it. It's their first match against each other. Or second, I think, because I think they fought each other in the Classic. But it's just, my problem goes to, like, if somebody stabbed me in the head with scissors, I want a street fight. I want anything goes. I don't want to just lock up, collar and elbow, headlock, take over, hip toss, drop down, leapfrog, arm drag. You know, I'm not doing all that stuff. No, we're going to fight. I'm going to put a pair of scissors in my head. But instead, it goes to just, hey, they'll meet meet a Dynamite February, whatever, in Atlanta. Now, could it include and add more now? Possibly. We'll see. The match is still 2 or 3 weeks away. But I want to have more meaning to the stuff that's going on. Not just, they did a great job with the women's division. Then it fell off. Now it's starting to come back. But you can't tell me that Mariah May has had a great, other than her stuff, like the shit that she does, that hasn't been a great title reign. And to be honest, Toni Storm's wasn't a great title reign. She was just so damn entertaining as Timeless Toni Storm. The TBS title got more relevance than the women's title. But the women's title is supposed to be your title. We talked about it earlier, title relevance. That's the problem that I have a lot with what AEW does. It's great to sign all these shiny toys and all these big names. But once you got to do something with them, what are you doing with them? And that has been my biggest issue with a lot of what's been going on with AEW. And look, I come from the storytelling, time frame. I love storytelling. I love long-term storytelling. But that's not the only way to watch wrestling. You can have your great matches. You can have matches mean things. There's tons of ways. And we say it all the time here. 5 of us could watch one match and have 5 different critiques and like 5 different things. That's what makes pro wrestling so good.
Yep.
But the problem is now you got tribalism in wrestling to where it's only the WWE way. Oh no, it's the only AEW way. They both have shit wrong with them. They both have good things going for them. And what I think is shit, somebody might think is the gold coin of why they're still in existence. That's what makes pro wrestling so damn good. But the problem now is there's so much tribalism that if you say something bad about WWE, you must like AEW. You say something bad about AEW, you must like WWE. No, I like pro wrestling. I have my way I like it. They might not do it 100% the way I like it, but I'm going to sit there and watch it every damn time. But AEW got tough to watch, just like WWE got tough to watch at the end of Vince running the shit. Because Vince was like, I don't give a damn. I'm the only thing on Monday night. So we'll keep rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And sometimes that's what I feel like you get from AEW.
You went there on a rant there.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're good. I agree with you. I agree with you to the point where, I'm a wrestling fan. I like both shows. Not only those shows, I like watching TNA when I can. I watch, New Japan Wrestling. I watch a lot of shows outside of just the 2 main shows. But like you said, it has to make sense. And, you could lose me. And if you lose me, then you're going to start, it's going to be affecting you. Do I think AEW is the new WCW? No, because I think Tony Khan has a lot of money, unlike WCW. I also feel that he's not doing those type of contracts, even though I do feel that he's paying out a lot of money.
Oh, no,
But
he's paying a lot of money. But the thing is, the difference is that TV deal. That TV deal is big time difference between what WCW and AEW, because WCW didn't get a TV deal. They got the TV slot that they weren't paying for, but they weren't getting paid for it either.
So at the end of the day, look, man, even though I'm a diehard wrestling fan, if you want to keep me tuned in, you gotta bring something to the table. And the same way we could talk about WWE, how some people like, the whole fireworks and the whole wow. and all that stuff, and their in wrestling is not as greatest, but it's still pretty good. And then you have the AEW way, where it's like you have the really good in ring wrestling, but their whole effects and all that stuff is not as great. There has to be something that intrigues me. WWE wins my viewership because they carry storylines and they could relate it, and it makes it interesting. I want to see what happens next. AEW.
Hold on, real quick. Let me know if we're still live, if you can see us. I just got the countdown again. We're now over 3 hours on the telecon. Tell that cast.
I gotta go. And then the AEW side, I like the in-ring wrestling, but here's my concern. The storytelling, you could always still
Yes.
wiggle and change it around and stuff like that. The in ring can actually end. Why? Because I don't want to see Will Ospreay versus MJF 7 or 8 times. I'm gonna get tired of it. I don't want to see Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page 7 or 8 times. It's gonna get tiring, and that's my concern with AEW. That's why me and Sean always preach and say, "Yo, get your shit together with the storylines," which they have, like what he has said. I still feel like they dropped the ball, but at least they're putting the efforts. That's what I do like that AEW. At least Tony Khan has been putting the effort, and they've been proving. But that's my only concern. I don't see AEW ever going out of business. But if you start losing fans and fans stop watching, which it could be possible, not everything lasts forever. I mean, they shut down Toys R Us. You got to make sure you keep the fans relevant, and you got to make sure the fans are still interested in your product. As of right now, it still is. Hopefully they could keep going. But has it gone down? It has. I just hope, they could do something to wow me again and bring me in.
Yeah, I like the fact what they're doing with Kyle Fletcher. I like that they're building up Kyle Fletcher. I love the fact they're using Will Ospreay to build him up. I love a lot of what they're doing. Wilfred, real quick, because we're going to get out of here. New Japan, I do follow, but I don't follow it enough to where I can sit here and break down everything. I watched, I don't know if you're trying to say Effie or DeFi wrestling. I watched Effie wrestle on GCW. I started at the start of the show. First time I really got into a full show because I thought it was all a lot of death match. I watched bits and pieces of GCW, but Effie did win the GCW title, so that was good. Yeah, we're going longer than Raw. I know. We probably should have ended this at about 2:15, just like Raw. That's probably what we should have done, but we didn't. So we keep going, and now final thoughts for you, Frankie Fresco.
Just again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like. Don't forget to hit the subscribe. Don't forget to follow me at Frankie Fresco on all social media platforms or Fresco Music. And every Tuesday, 7:00. Usually it's a 2-hour show. We went a little bit longer. I blame Sean for it, but
it's all my fault. All my fault. I'm the owner. The buck stops here. But he is my treasured co-host right there. There would be no Square Circle Digest without that guy.
There would absolutely be no Squared Circle Digest without this guy up here.
No. You're too kind, man. You're too kind. And you can check me out, Stanley Media _11 on X, Stanley Media House Network on YouTube, Stanley Media House on Facebook. Please join the page, join the community. Twitch, I'm at Sean _Stanley 11. And X, I said that already. Frankie Fresco, anything else?
No, man. Tune in next Tuesday, Saturday night. Hopefully we could get on, or at least hopefully I could jump on board with you guys. If I can't, then at least I'll listen to you guys if I'm not too busy. But
don't forget also
for everybody tuning in.
Tomorrow night, the Dynamite recap right here on the Stanley Media House Network. SmackDown also after that 3-hour debacle, damn it. And then Saturday night main events, we're back here. Tuesday, 7 p.m., me and Frankie Fresco back on the airwaves, 7 p.m. Till then, in the words of the great Gordon. Actually, you know what? Real quick. No doubt, Josh, Wilfred, my dad, everybody that was in with us tonight, Sammy, brother, BXL, Memo, appreciate everybody that was in with us. In the words of the great Gordon Soley, so long from the Sunshine State.